and we have the top and the most advanced requirement, which is the advanced specialization in all the 6 solution areas. And so what that means is that in all Microsoft technology, we sit at the very, very top of the chain. So, and in addition to all of that, there's another one called the Microsoft Cloud, and that one is done so well. Microsoft does do that one. Big. That means you covered everything, and so we compete, and then we present in all the continents now. So in Africa, yes, we have this same program. The last week, 2 weeks ago in Nairobi, was quite explosive. Then we're losing South Africa by next month. We're in Egypt, in UK, Canada. Quite a number of Africa, even doing all the way to Pakistan. So we have presence there. But challenge daily. What do you think about challenge? Can anyone guess? The challenge we face daily. Can anyone guess? Time zone. Time zone. So I'm trying to get myself into that too. You have a customer in Australia, then you try to say, where do we meet? Where you are today, they are already tomorrow. It's tomorrow. So in Canada, it's also the same, but I think most of them is Australia, the New Zealand. So we have customers in those places too. Okay. So it's like the cultures and all that. But so far we're happy that we're able to help them. So then also if I'm going to talk about tech, I think and I mean probably anybody technical to that thing, I mean probably did a lot of it. A lot of us we're going to do very, very look into the real business cases and challenges customers have faced and what we have done. And then at the very end, we're going to get our hands dirty. That's we're going to build apps to ourselves using the co-pilots. Let me mention co-pilots a while ago. So you're going to see co-pilots real time. And you're going to see how we apply co-pilots in Power and use that to build an app. So in today's world, if you look around, there are quite challenges everywhere. And businesses still want to, businesses to survive. How do you guys know that Coca-Cola actually makes sales in war country where they're selling, where people are fighting war? So companies still survive. So companies always find ways to survive. In any environment you think whether the economy is hard, things are tough, companies must still survive. And so in today's world, it's still the same. Regardless of government policies, regardless of people's economic power, businesses must survive. And these are things that are really concerns about customers. One of them is you're looking at increasing customer expectations. Because why? Customers are always evolving. These changes are always there. So you might think today that we are doing very well. Start wondering why some of the customers are living there. So they go to where they are will be treated better. Not just price, they have really good experience. And then you have changing market conditions, things are changing. A while ago, I think before Uber came, I think it was just a normal taxi. I think you have to go to a park and get the taxi. Yes, you can get the taxi. And that's what then. Now, after Uber came, we thought, wow, that was it. Now you are having Taxify, you are having. For me, I see being new kind these days now. It's not in Lagos, in other countries, you see a whole lot, and it's not just Uber. And you see the Uber themselves adjusting the way they run things. They are adjusting and all of that. No disrespecting. Very good. Okay. Yeah, so you see new competitive threats, you guys comes into the market and then you need to really uh, adjust. So you might think you are the best guys, and suddenly some people just come in and push you out of the market. But again, you should ask yourself, there are some businesses that have kept their market share to themselves. No matter what you do, they are still a major player. And then so the idea of improving profitability and cost, the cost reduction, increased revenue, profitability is always in the minds of executives and business owners. So we can actually have it go through the 3 days, we can discuss all of it, but that's not why we're here. So on time, across the whole world, the business experience that technology has a role to play in all of this. And then they often embrace technology. And most time, when you see organizations with technology, for banks that are ahead of a lot of today building players. So I'll just say what this is all about. So the fact that the bank has, I think, usually starts with their core banking solution. That's from my experience. So they usually start with that in terms of technology, and then they build technology that supports it. Those are requirements for them to serve their customers very well. At least for them, they don't have license. It's like it's the basics. But for them to be competitive, they will really have to do more than just the application. Or by doing that, they will actually want to invest to improve security, improve customer experience, and the whole you have to invest more in technology to allow that. And not just that, also human. Technology also needs to look at the ease of use also. How the users or the people or the employees, how do they use technology? How does technology actually impact their own productivity? However, there's technology billions of dollars who can't use it. People don't know how to use it, people don't get to use it. So buying technology only isn't just enough. But it's always a starting point. And organizations actually approach technology oftentimes. I'm testing this now. Works for me. What should I do? Is anywhere? What should I do? Oh, it's working. Sorry. Okay, so the employees actually struggle as well. How do they use technology and how do they get value from this technology? It's also one of the challenges. But what happened over time is that you have siloed data and things are in different places. You want to see how they can work together. So we're looking at the beginning of challenges and things that led to some of the challenges that organizations have and how they're integrated and so on. The other one is that an employee wants to get something done. I once had a friend who works in the bank. The guy had first class and he was employed in the bank. All through my university secondary school, the guy was genius. He's always come up with maybe 100, if he gets 98, if he gets 91, 92, he will put it in himself. And that was the first time I've seen those kind of things, but I just saw a lot of in the university. But that was the first time I've seen that. For me, it was strange. When he got the job in the bank, so there's some things he will want to do. Maybe he doesn't know why customers are queuing up all the time. And then he doesn't know why customers come to this and they are complaining. So he feels that if you just get the paper, write your problem, something that the organization will always want to maybe take it through a process, It goes for approval, people go through it, and they say, "Okay, this is what we need." But for him, if you let just do something, and then that solves the customer's problem. But of course, it's way more than that. And that's someone who really wants to innovate. But does it have the right equipment? Does it have the right environment to do so? So and this was like 10 years ago. I'm sure in most banks now, situation are changing now. So you see those that really want to innovate, or can they? Do they have the right technology for them to innovate? The customers oftentimes have all the answers to business problems. You simply have to engage them. You simply have to have a way of getting that proper feedback. You have proper feedback, and you have to get all the feedback and you're ready to provide the solution. Yeah, you get the solution, you provide, and then you read them over. It's as simple. But the challenge oftentimes is that we have the means whereby we can engage them. We have the means whereby we can know what they want. So you see that some of the employees know what to do, but how can they do it and how do they go about it? So it's always a challenge. Oftentimes, just get tired of the process. We're having so many problems. And they will say, I have seen employees who are saying, so they say, look, I'm not raising something for them, I'm not having a problem. I've seen it in Nigeria also, but I've seen it mostly in an advanced country where things for me is not the challenge. But here, so here it's in family. I've seen where manager scream at an employees stay, but I've also seen that you scream the guy who said, I said, oh, I was going to start. So at the end of the day, you see what we call the lack of fulfillment, and then you start getting turned back the employee. Leaving your organization, and that actually impacts organization. I think recently, event transfers come into my account. I think it's and they say, this particular bank has been badly hit by a camper that the developers have done. So you don't transfer money from that bank. They have a big problem. When things improve, I will not. All the guy said to me. So you can see the role of employee. It really matters. So we look at the employees and the technology. When you look at two sides, you realize that they actually relate to one another. They actually affect one another also. I think it's this way. Yes. So at the end of the day, when you get all the best technology and oftentimes, over time, these are the challenges that you get. And the time you're getting technology, or you're getting the software, you're getting all of that. Requirements are there. The marketer comes said to you, the pitch, the market every feature of the system to your challenges. Over time, the business challenges and the business requirement is example, customer evolving requirements, customers need. And some of these things are actually unarticulated. So, but at that time, over time, that system becomes what we call legacy system or traditional system because you get used to it. And the system comes with its own problems or challenges. And then you just pick on those challenges and say, let's move on. Maybe you have a system before, like have a requirement, then you are now printing a document out of it. You are now representing that component into another system. It's a challenge, but because one smart guy says, don't worry, I'll wait for you. All you want is just that to be here, right? And then the guy do it manually, and then simply, some people employ someone to be doing that. Actually, and then so it becomes a challenge, but organizations manage this and all of that. And then one of the challenges is that I find it difficult to expand or to scale and then meet a need of the market quickly. So they're slow. And so look at these challenges. Now, so one of them is so oftentimes time to market means you really can't get things done finish up because this system comes with their own challenges. It's not a legal system, but over time, processes have changed, or there are people that want to like the business have changed already, and you really want to tweak some things and then get it done. Then, yeah, you see that changing business expectations, and then you develop all the that's complex processes and a lot of paper. I've seen organizations that have places systems at the same time they have a house. You know what's in that house? It's paper. I don't know if any of you have seen this paper. I've been to hospital in Lagos. Yeah, well, maybe you were there a month and they have to register, you collect a card. And then you come back 2 weeks' time. And this is look, wait, so they see that you are Akada or you are people, they'll see we have your record, don't worry. They'll not go in. The guy will not come. The rest of will not come. The other will not do my son. The rest of my son. Just thinking, not that. You know, some know it is. So we had to say, I'm finding it. So they will collect that, you collect another card. And that's so they are all inefficient, and that's why you see a lot of paper. Yeah, there are some businesses that actually require paper, yes, but the more just like or not something that where electronically you should actually get that done. There are some places you register your data after like a year to come there, they're able to sell your transactions. So the banks are doing it. So, and then you look at lack of insight. You don't get to the office, you resume in the office by evening, you go home. You ask yourself, what have I even achieved? What have we achieved as an organization? We have about 300 staff here. What have we achieved? What have we done? Everybody's working, back to back. They are all, people are complaining of stress. You don't even know where you are. You don't even know where the mistakes are, things that you need to do. Because the systems that you bought at that time, things like this were not part of the requirement. And today, I'm talking about AI. Look, if you don't have data, you really can't get the better part of data. If you don't have data analytics today, if you don't have data, you really can't. But there are those who actually have data, but their data, you don't have access to those data. The systems are so structured as at the time you got them, these were not on the front burner. You probably just want to meet the need at that time. But we already agree that they are changing business expectations. Customer expectations are changing. The business landscape is changing. Things are changing. I don't give a scenario in banking. I had in a time, I think it was in Ghana, that if you want to collect money, you go to the bank and inform them that I need money. It doesn't matter the amount now. But it's some transaction. And it's okay. Come next week, Friday. I don't even know if I've heard of that. Lucky you. And I think it happens in Ghana. So when Nigerian banks got there, there's one of the guy came to advise our economists. They said, why are you telling us next week? How are you taking now? I said, it's impossible. The guy went to tell them that these people say it's now. It's possible now. But you see, to them, you really have to advise before you collect your money. But because of technology, the Nigerian bank, when they got there, they were able to actually tell them that, and then the other banks have to rise and wake up. So those are changes. At the time, before then, changes like that might not have happened, but now you see that happen. So now, when you have this system over time, the people that will manage it become scarce because of the requirement oftentimes. And then for you to maintain, there are some systems whereby you need to have a standby engineer. Those engineers are expensive. I want to work for an airline where they have to bring in an engineer from the UK to work on the software at that time. And Yeah, it's something that people spend like 20 minutes to book a passenger. You know, before when you get to the airport, I don't know if you remember, you get to the airport, you should need to look at the one that's going Lagos Abuja. You don't need to look at the one that's going Lagos Abuja. You really don't know. So they are leaving your house. You don't know the airline that you are going to join. I don't know if you guys, you just leave your house. You just land at the airport. You look at the queue that is moving. Lagos Abuja, you don't get that queue. Now, when is that turn? When is the airline turn to now load the book? Then it's something that let's know. I think it's all about almost about 15 million at that time to consider. So when you come in and say, look, you don't need all of this. What you want is to book passenger, right? Maybe something on small Microsoft Access and then be able to book passengers in say about, let's say, within about 20 seconds to book a passenger. Because so if you have Lagos Abuja queue, you are not going to have Port Harcourt, Lagos at the same time for the same airline. It doesn't happen like that in those days. So you just set up the system, Lagos Abuja, the system will calculate the price already. So the only thing you need to do therefore is the name of the person. And those who are used to say, look, the type so fast, see that's what they do. So in 50 seconds, the data is stored locally there at regular interval. It goes to the head office and goes to the cloud, that sort of thing. Then the information cloud, people chase us away from the office. We don't be able, what if it's rain? What to our data? You guys heard of those things before. So what if it's rain? Cloud. And there's nobody secure. Even the one that is behind us and people are hacking it. How much more the one that is in the cloud that we are not seeing it? You know? So cost of ownership. I don't know if this is. Hello? Okay, I think this way better. So over time, you spend a lot of money on systems, managing them because they are become old and they are not so flexible. There's some system that you buy as a result of wrong decision at that time, or you didn't probably have enough consultation, or things happen so fast. Systems becomes difficult to manage. So if you find yourself in this whereby now it depends on your tolerance again. If you feel that you spend less on managing a system, that's another thing. There are those who probably feel that well, it's still not enough. The money we are spending is still less. Okay. That's also another thing. But these are the challenges of systems over time. And these are systems that we expect to solve problems and all of that for us. So, and then by the end of the day, what customers expect, what they want to achieve are just this: drive growth, improve decision making, and streamline your operations. They are also summarized in these three categories. So I'll be mentioning customers, things that we've done with solutions. So I will mention the case, how we're able to resolve it for them, and the benefit that they have. And these are things we've done across different markets, starting from Nigeria, Ghana, Canada, Kenya, Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, some in Australia. Then my colleague will come in and then mention the rest, but after that, I think we have gone for Tip Creek. So I'll just mention a few of them, and then I will expect questions at the end. Yeah, so the first one here is Airtel Tigo. Airtel Tigo is like our own MTN and Airtel in Ghana. And so for them, they actually wanted to spread fast. So they are worried that why can't we get this done fast? Because they are Airtel, it's a franchise. I think the name is a franchise. So they have partnerships or other sister companies across the world that is so same telecoms. But they also want to move fast. So they want to modernize their procurement. They want to look at the acquisition process. And actually, as the first time I met that guy, said, look, I don't want to send any paper. So, and then we look at the costs, what are the things that we need to do, and how will it impact their business quickly. Customers also don't want to start something with you by, now this is very critical, by January.
And the next January, they are still discussing it. They don't want it because if you start in January, by March, the business requirements have changed. But I'm not going to agree with me that that's the situation. So you start January, and then by March, it's a new stuff. In fact, there was a bank that we got a deal that was 2011. We got a deal to design internet banking for them, and then we had agreed the fees, blah blah blah, and all of that. So everything has been agreed, everything has been signed, contract awarded, our teams are ready. Then we realized that the core banking APIs were not ready. So they asked us to wait. The guy that was supposed to do the API had resigned. So I think the guy resigned from First Bank. I remember at that time, and the guy joined them. And they said, the guy now started doing it. It took the guy about 6 months, honestly. By the time we started, they had brought in a new guy that is head of consumer product or head of consumer marketing, or someone that does meet customers and make sure customers are happy. He says all this thing that we have built, you cannot use it because the CBN have changed policies. So the new requirement, if we have to build it on top, we might have to charge them 3 times. But in their books, it's been marked that they've paid for internet banking. To cut the long story short, it was a lot of back and forth. It was tough. And the reason for that is because of that time. We couldn't even move into UAT. Because if you are doing UAT, what are you doing UAT? There's people that will sit there, they are looking at the UAT and they are comparing it with CBN policies. It's not matching it. They say, what UAT are you doing? So why will you even launch? You launch a program today. CBN announced one rule last week and it's not there. What are you talking about? So you must do something that time to market is of the essence. And these guys, those are the things that was actually on their tip. And then so at the end of the day, we were actually able to cut that paper use by 90%. And what we did at the end of the day was actually, I think for now, we say, and this happened some years ago, we say have contract them. So for them, coming up with the process name is to them at the speed of thought. So they can just say, why don't we just do so? 2-3 guys just with us say, can't you just change it like this? Because of so has changed. They're able to do that at will. And in a matter of a day or two, you put the process together, the 3rd day it goes live. The traditional approach that we use, I started my programming career as early as 2000. I started writing program from the university. And I'm not sure I'm able to write a program that I can deploy using C# in 2 days, that the company will pay me for in 2 days. No, I haven't. Well, I think the best I've done is probably 3 months. Yes, 3 months. And that 3 months, you won't sleep in your house. So you're sleeping in the bank or they'll rent a hotel for you. Between the baby, meeting in the morning, meeting in the afternoon, meeting in the evening. You fight with your wife, you fight with the family, you fight with everybody. Because you're not available. Unless it's the money you are making, you're not making any money. So let's look at where we can get this done faster and then see win-win for everybody. So this is another company. So Ethio Telecom, they are in Ethiopia. Now, there's something I just said earlier. When customers realize that they have these challenges, you know what they do? They go to Microsoft. When they go to Microsoft check their books. Okay, this partner. Oh, Reliance. Okay, go with Reliance. And that was what Remy was saying earlier. So we get all of this from Microsoft. We also refer us, okay, Reliance have done something like this. And when we have done our job, Microsoft goes in to find out if we've done a thorough job or proper job. And if you look at these are actually customer success stories that Microsoft themselves publish. We see that a lot of it in their magazine. Some of them don't even know about. I was shocked when I read one recently about Ethiopian airline, how we help them to save 70% cost, 70% cost reduction in cloud in terms of the Azure consumption so high. So we have to put in our cost optimization product. And so a whole lot of that are going on. So in Ethiopia, so what we did for them here was they already have some systems already. As at the time they bought it, so even the SharePoint itself was updated with some other function. But you know there are new things. Now, if you have Microsoft 365, it comes with the SharePoint. But that SharePoint, if you configure it, you can turn it to a lot to submit to something else. So what we've done is that we have a product that we built in-house because of our experience. So SharePoint is like a forest where there are so many trees of different names and different. But if the customers are interested in particular trees and all of that, so what you could do is to bring those trees to their forefront, to their front line so that they can see it. But the normal SharePoint is that you have to go in, click, and click that. You want to do something else, click, and click that. You want to do that thing, you keep doing that, click, until you lose interest. So what we've done is to bring out the features that the customers need, particularly for industries. I think there's some verticals. Maybe the banking, there's something they want. Those telecom, there's something they also need. But there are something that actually common across. So for these guys, so we're able to bring in some HR process, help them fine tune it. Now they already have an HR system that they spend a lot of thousands of dollars acquiring, but maintaining it was quite expensive. So we use Power Platform and they're able to help them optimize the HR processes. And then we're able to do the learning tools also because for them, they were particular about how to democratize learning. We did that. If you have Microsoft 365, the solution that comes with it called Microsoft Viva, where you have learning, you have the insight that helps the employee well-being. The HR uses that to get some insight information and then be able to organize, advise the management to make, what will I say, a plan intervention. Because when you see staff resigning all of a sudden, something has happened before. It's not that when they resign, you're not asking them to do exit interview. Exit interview doesn't do. I say, okay, you guys are doing well, you guys are doing well. You just say that to receive the salary, and so that where it's going, when they're coming for recommendation, that okay, yes, you get it, God bless you. Recommendation, that's why he's saying all of those things. But the desire to resign has happened long ago. So someone I was going for an interview, but we call in sick every time going for interview. He finally got that job now. They're now telling the person to stay after like a year or two. It doesn't work like that. So you have that solution called Microsoft Viva, and that helps. It actually helps organizations to improve the employee experience. It's a solution that a lot of organizations are sitting on, but they don't know. We said that if you have Microsoft 365, you're sitting on good. So we can come in, help you look at it, and then get you value. We've helped a lot of organizations to save cost when they want to buy that. So, but how about this is fine? Have we used it very well? Oh, you have this? No, there's no need to buy. I have one Alex. I don't know, it's a log and where they save almost about 15 million naira at a time when they decided to buy a third-party solution, and the one partner was talking to me then. I was just calling me to help them evaluate if it made us like, well, you have Microsoft 365. I said, yes. But I say, hi, it's working well. We're ready to send email. There's Outlook, there's Excel. I said, no, that thing can do this thing for you. Give us 5 million to configure it for you. We did it. It was way better than the one they want to buy for 15 million. So that's how we're able to help organizations like this. And the impact is that the HR process costs time and error. If you're not in it, you probably won't know the impact or the effect this thing has on organization. It's a whole lot. But these are licenses that customers already have. You already have them. So let me tell you, because of competition, so you buy Microsoft licenses, a lot of you will probably say it's email. Which I think there's no competitor these days. Again, I think before it used to be, what was that system by IBM again? I think it was Lotus. Was it Domino, right? Anyone use Domino here before? I think before it was Domino and Exchange Server that was competing in the collaboration space. But now I think they've yanked off that, and now you just have the Microsoft Exchange, which is that the Exchange online. And lately, Amazon was in that space. But last year, they signed a deal of $1 billion with Microsoft. So they say they are not doing their own again. They've yanked that off. Now they are using Microsoft Productivity tool that comes with a Copilot. So there's a whole lot that is really happening. That Satya Nadella guy is something else. I'm going to tell you others. The time I attend Ignite, where we sit one-on-one and they will ask them customers questions, and they also explain their own challenges to us as well. So we are together with Microsoft, and then we help a lot of customers to because Microsoft don't implement themselves. So they rely on us to implement. So now is to make them happy, make customer happy. So another one is, okay, this no sir. So this is a very familiar case. So they are into oil and gas, they are into logistics, they have a chain of supermarket, they have farm, they're into manufacturing. So it happens that someone can actually carry, for a document to be signed, they can actually use Korea. Someone has to take paper from, they give it Korea, so they actually have a logistic department that does that. They move the document to, yeah, guys, sign. After I sign, they take it out, yeah, and that person sign, that sort of thing. So at that time, we came in when they were moving to Microsoft Teams, but I think they were using an email. That was a long time ago, but it's of recent that we now did this. So they were moving from, they were using 3 panels. I don't know, control panels email, what do you call it? C-panel, they call them C-panels email. So they were getting a whole lot of spam. You just come to the office, you put your mail, 1,000 emails waiting. All of them not relevant. In a bid to delete all of them, you start deleting very important email. I said, I didn't receive the email. I did not receive. At some point, I started using Verbada. If I send the email, you don't receive my email. So everybody was accusing each other. You say, okay, you know what, you need Microsoft 365, let us, and then they went for it. When they got Microsoft 365, so they were using only the emails, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, this logistic thing, people signing thing, paper flying around here and there, you don't need it. And then somebody on the board actually wanted to have controls of all things that are happening. There were a lot of fraud going on at the time. But when they got this, they were able to see all of that. Free controls, increased profit. If you see them today on LinkedIn, on social media, they're doing very well now because of a lot of all of these things. So we're able to help. So they have our 11 subsidiary, but that has increased now, and they rely on manual process, all of this. But today, look at what they have. So now, even the remote work has really helped them now. It was shocking when one of the guys told the director that, "Sir, you don't need to come to the office. Just stay, don't worry. That email and see the office is also available at home." And they were able to do that. And they were able, and all of that was, because the Power BI, they were still doing some other project with them as well, also, for them to have insight and manage all of these subsidiaries and be able to compete in the market. They're able to know how their product is doing, where they market from data that they get, and it's a whole lot. And one thing about this is the time to market. If you're in the business of refining, selling granite oil, just face that. Systems should no longer be their own problem. They shouldn't be worried too much about systems or software, and then the IT is now holding them to ransom. And the best way that can happen is time to market. You start in January, if you deliver by end of January, it's very fantastic. So that new ideas can come, and then they will know that on system side, anything they want to do, they will do it. The staffs are able to innovate. And both of these processes also, some of their own staff were able to build those things by themselves. And today, you're also going to build apps also. So if you didn't come with your laptop, if you have with your phone, it will still work. Yes, this is I'm sure you know this company, right? It's one of the biggest Nigerian company. They are virtually into every sector. Their own challenge was that They were already using on-premise, Exchange on-premise. They were using Exchange on-premise, and then they needed to move to the cloud because of change. You know, the issue about cloud is not whether you like it or not. It's just that something that you have to do. So if you think the issue why people didn't go to cloud was because of security. But they say that security are making people to go to cloud now. Because if you say your environment is secure, what if I put fire in their house and it gets gone? Okay, you have DR, Ravi. What if I put fire in that place? Please make the DR. Uh-huh. So what are you now saying? So they were going to the cloud, so we came here and then we gave them Microsoft 365. At that same time, they couldn't do some project. They couldn't do some project because they have SAP, because they manufacture now, and they have some hardware. They have some machines. You know, if you partner with, you have a foreign partner, they always say use certain systems. Use particular number, yeah, use the particular system. One of them is SAP that they recommend or record these people so that they can see your activities. But that SAP, there was particular modules, quite a number of modules that were really digging deep. They had to bring in engineers from abroad. Some of the engineers were charging almost like $1,000 per day. I think in the UK, some engineers charge as high as £1,200 per day on an SAP. So put somebody on the project for like 6 months. I'm sure you know what that means. Now, some of my SAP friends, they are big boys. They are big boys. They're just cashing out big time. But for the businesses that are using them, it's a big problem. Now, the likes of Exxon, Mobil, Shell that have this money, they may not feel the pain, but they thought that it's something they really want to resolve. And they also have, because they're using on-premise, they have things like InfoParts and a whole lot of that, but they also want to improve all of that. So we came in and said, look, this policy that you have on SAP that is making your finance fight all the time, there's no need. Our platform will do all of this for you. And then they didn't believe it. I think, but someone in the center actually believed it. I think the head of IT then, someone very, very versatile, and say, look, I like this. So from different subsidiaries, decided, but some people were still saying, let's go and be waiting for the SAP, let's make more money. It was shocking to them when they started approving things. So this thing can work easily like this. Wow. And that was how we were able to implement almost about 60 business processes or more. And we are still implementing new ones as we speak. The idea is for a company to be able to change, do things new, react as soon as you can, and do something preemptive. At least if you can't do preemptive, you can't prepare for an attack. If attack comes, you should be able to react. That's the least you can do when they come finally. So they're able to react, get things done quickly rather than having endless meeting, get board approval to collect money, do all of this. That takes time. No. So they're able to do all of that. But they still use the XCP. They still use some core functions with their machines. But what we've done is that we built, there are some others that will took off completely, but there are some that will now build Power Platform around it so that they can have interface. And that also reduce cost of license. And just one Power Automate alone can actually allows you to have access rather than buying one SAP license for every user. We'll get into that very soon, where we'll go deep into that one. So, and the impact, so they're able to shift that and then boost productivity and things, it was a cost saving. Now, something now happened. Yes. There's OVH, I don't know if you know if you are there, there's OVH major and this. So in the OVH was trying to go, I think it was just their renewal. They also have some challenges with their SharePoint. They want to get some things done faster. They have an Oracle system that gives them problems. They're managing it like every other company is managing it. So there was a partner that had done the RFQ with them a year before. I don't know if you guys know how that thing works. If your partner planned the RFQ with you, and the RFQ come out, it's not about that active in the deal. You guys don't know about that. So if I'm a partner now, and then you say you want this project to go up for a bid, and you don't know anything much about it, and I'm coming up with the requirements. I'm going to give you the requirement that I know I have now because I want the deal, right? So OBH has a partner that had done that. So when that year, the partner the partner was already winning it. And the partner has won it already. They just needed to finalize, but no other person could. But somehow we just got it later and then we applied. Someone that had resigned from USA was now working in the OBH. And I said, no, this guy, that Oracle, so these guys will do it for us. And they were saying, no, it's not possible. Until they called us. So yes, done that before. They asked the partner, but now I said, no, we should go and get the engineer. I didn't know that built it. They'll fix the thing themselves now. So if you have problem as a human, you go and meet God, your creator. If Mercedes has problem, the best mechanic is a Mercedes-Benz mechanic, no? Not knowing that these guys are worried about cost and all of that here. And so we built that solution for them. We solved all of that, built about 60 business processes. I remember it in a very short time. They really can't believe it. It was fast. If we had, according to one of them, if we were to use the traditional method, maybe 3-4 years, they'll still be on that thing. It was something they thought they will never achieve until maybe something happened. They're probably looking at, in fact, they haven't put the proposal in front of the management. So they were always looking for quick fix, just manage this, manage that, manual things, here and there, They also have quick fix, and then we're able to do all of that for OVH. So not too long, NNPC and OVH had partnership, right? And then we were not in the NNPC environment. And the NNPC had a way of doing their own. But when they saw what OVH has done, NNPC was like, OVH, come to SAPA, come to us, say, no, this is what we have. And the NNPC didn't, so the OVH insisted that we implement that for them. And then the other partner bidding, and they asked, in fact, it was actually a condition, one of the challenges at the time they were signing the merger of the buyover, some of the IT reconciliations. If there's a merger, when there's 2 CI, one CI normally goes. So they have to do that. And not so soon, the NNPC were shocked by they engaged us on something else and we deliver seamlessly. And the guy was like, what kind of things? I said, look, it's the technology and things, so we mastered it also. It's also a mindset also. It's about saying this is what we should do. It's not spending months, years, a lot of the last to build up. NNPC is into oil. So IT shouldn't be what they should be worried about too much. IT should help them to be good at what they do. So, and that was what happened. So right now we have a deal with them where we build apps for them. And then we have a resource station there in case. And for them, it's one of the best deals that they've had. So the time we're going for normally we have all that is the council, the other thing we propose, but they say, no, this one particularly, they are really very much interested in it. And one of the processes we're building, there are processes that are already in their core systems. We talked about traditional systems earlier, core systems that has its own difficulties, some challenges, and the cost of fixing that is enormous. Not just in the monetary aspect, but also the time and the resource. So you may have money. What if you can't find the person that has that skill set? You want to avoid all that. Some of these things get some managers crazy. Some even resign their jobs. Look, I really can't do. You guys have some complex problem. And asking them to buy another system that is brand new company, they'll tell you that they will run into the same problem also. So now let's want a way at and Microsoft actually really helped with this technology. I think we'll really be able to help a lot of companies. And also for us, we have some Microsoft staff that actually work with us. Where we get stuck, tell them, guys, we don't go. So those that built it, they also help us out. And then, so that's how we've been able to improve ourselves. And then, so in the world right now, we are rated as one of the very, 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 very top. Compete the likes of those Europeans and in those other markets like the America, Europe. Okay. I think, oh, okay. I think this should be the last one for me. For this, we got in there. The guy didn't know that we could do it. I think Microsoft got us and said we should just go there and hear them out. So when we gave them the quote, the guys said, you guys can do, you guys just go and do whatever you want to do. 4 partners had come there and they had failed. So what they wanted, this was when Buhari came with that idea of a single something. So whereby every payment has to go through some approvals from the Office of Accountant General of the Federation. So they have some about MDAs, that's ministries, departments, agencies, about 900 of them. They must route their approvals through one particular office. So what they normally do before we came was they packed documents, heap of documents in vehicles or bikes. Government, they have their ways of getting things done, but it was very complicated. So things that should happen maybe in a day probably will happen like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So when you hear of delayed salaries, oftentimes it's not that the company, the department doesn't have the money. It's because they are trying to avoid ghost workers. So they need to do the necessary approvals, accreditation, ensure they are aware that those who want to collect money were those that actually did the job. They are trying to avoid fraud oftentimes. So coupled with mixed salary, maybe when you are in January, you are dealing with something of last year, July. It's a problem. So when we came in, we were able to automate this, and they already have the license already, Microsoft 365. So we built one of our products, we deployed it in their SharePoint environment. I think some of the process has about nine approvals. And then they're able to, so you just scan your document or just fill the form, Word for this already format, upload it and go and rest. So as it goes through approvals, you get notified and then you know what is happening. But something happened here that makes it very remarkable. Now, it's one thing to automate a process, but it's one thing for that process to be efficient. I don't know if you guys have thought of that. So if I'm applying for petty cash, I'm applying for a leave, and manually we are filling form, and it's taking 3 weeks or a week for me to get an approval. And after you've automated the process, it's still taking 2 weeks or a week. Shouldn't you be worried? Should be worried. So we built some performance metrics into this to know where delays are. There are thresholds at every approval section, the maximum time that it will spend, and a whole lot of that. So what that means is that once it gets there and then you get approved, so we're able to see the dashboard, that's where delays are coming from. And then they allow you to now ask, Madam Zuberi, what happened? Oh, sorry, that's when my wife gave birth, and I had to rush to the hospital. And then I said, sorry, my in-laws' daughter, something was kidnapped, and they had to get me, I had to be there. You know, these are real life challenges. So it will allow the government, to change their process. Okay, for that approval, let's have 1 or 2 people there. So that it goes to one person. First, if it doesn't, then it goes to the other person. Or it can go there at the same time. They just have the approval. Who first approve goes. So we have to do all of that. Then over time, you see a dashboard to say, okay, where does it spend most of the time? It spends some time because in some places where they need to connect to other systems to verify 1 or 2 things. We're like, okay, why can't this system do that? So we're able to incorporate all of that into it. And there's something that probably will take, say, 2 or 3 days. It's happening, say, in 30 minutes. So you send something all the way from Akwa Ibom, and Abuja say, yeah, we receive it. Some even happen in less than 30 minutes, 15, 10 minutes. Again, because it lands in their email. And right on their phone, they could just do all the check. The system does all the check, they approve. It goes, and then that's it. So there's dashboard where we see all the metrics, where there are delays. And there are some that are, maybe those staff, they are probably maybe they're not efficient enough, or you need to do something about it, or give them some other assistance, help them. Maybe they are over pressure, or there's work-related stress, and then you need to help them. Trying to be efficient is something that everyone requires. It's not about whether government or private. As long as you want to be efficient, there are some challenges that you need to know, then you solve them. But if you don't know, how will you provide solutions to them? But for us, we're able to use the Power Platform and the SharePoint to do this, and these are licenses that I already have. Our 4 partners be there earlier, bought other systems, cost them millions of naira. They land it after the training upon training, nobody use it. I don't know. Has any of you seen all those people where you keep buying systems, training, and with our platform, just fix those inefficiencies immediately and complement for those losing features, things that you need. And it's a license that you already have. Just check. Most of you are EA, and I think ahead of UPA. If you are UPA, you shouldn't worry about licenses at all. Because the money you pay for licenses, for me, I think it's free money because there's a lot here that I'm not using. There's a lot. And this is also an opportunity. Not because of us, those are things that we've done for them. Yes, I think it's still big now. At this time, I want to entertain some questions. And then after then we'll go for tea break. And then we'll come back and then we'll start showing you demo some of integration we've made, looking at some of the solutions that have solved the efficiency. And then we have to do it demo. Then after then, talk more about the SAP, things, likely challenges, things you need to do for other ERP. Then after then, we'll go get our hands dirty. You build your own apps yourself using the Microsoft Copilot. Any questions regarding what I've said? There should be. Yeah, good afternoon. Okay.
In our office, we have impacts dynamics.
Okay.
So can we actually neglect the ERP for these
So you've asked a very good question, and the guy that will come after me will give you more answer in the way you see it. In fact, you even mentioned dynamics. Now, dynamics, Power Platform and dynamics, they're almost together. So, in fact, there's an interface of Power Platform that is exactly as dynamics, and they share the same data source, the data bus. So let me try and explain this, the difference between dynamics and Power Platform. Dynamics comes with prepared modules that you can find off the shelf, modules that are common across verticals or even horizontally. Maybe like HR modules, maybe claim module, maybe logistics, supply chain, standard modules that you can configure to suit your need, right? Platform is a plain canvas. It means that those modules in Dynamics, you can actually build them yourself on Power Platform. So that's the major difference. The major difference is that you build modules by yourself in Power Platform. In Dynamics, they already come. Dynamics compete the likes of SAP, Oracle, where you configure those things yourself. So what Power Platform will do, for in case of Dynamics, which will have a demo of it. So it's something that you need to look at it and look at which works for you. If you have a Dynamics and you have a deficiency in Dynamics, maybe there's a module or things you wanted to do, but it's not able to do it for now. So you have options. One of the options is to get a Dynamics expert to include that if that is possible based on the requirement. You look at the time, you look at the cost. Now, for Power Platform, it's a matter of, so they already have a handshake. They have a connector already. Because it's in Microsoft, so it's seamless. Or to use a Power Platform to build that process and then to connect to Dynamics works seamless. One of the reasons why you use Power Platform oftentimes is that there's some process that are not standardized process that you can really, some of them you can't even explain them to your to your vendor, or you think it's too small, but it's impacting your business greatly. And there are things that, when done, there are things that you can actually manage uh, yourself. So those are the scenarios for it. Or you have the dynamics, and the cost is also one. That platform, if you have the license, in fact, that Power Automate does a lot. The same for SAP as well. If you have it, does that connectivity. It's just that pipe. They've created it already where they just talk to each other seamlessly, very easy, and then give you that interface. You can build that around the dynamics at different points where there are deficiencies, and then they will complement the features or the functionalities that you're looking for. But you see, the difference between it and dynamics, we go through the route of what it takes to do dynamics normally. For the Power Platform, it's a drag and drop. Yes, it's mostly drag and drop. So the Power Automate there does that flow and then communicates with that dynamics and store some data in the table, and then you view your validation and all you need to do in the dynamic in the Power Platform interface. And then it allows you to easily change the design completely in Power Platform. Power Platform is like you're building your C# something in terms of the interface where you have that flexibility to bring your ideas to life. There's a limitation of how you can change the front end of most ERPs, and Dynamics is also included. You just can't change it from this to this. No. But you have that flexibility. Is almost, you are not limited in Power Platform. You can do it just anyhow. So that's the major difference there. Any other question, please? Okay.
Thank you very much for insightful lecture that you just gave us. So, my organization, we have a Microsoft 365 license. So, I think some time ago I discovered there's a Power Platform, there's a Power Apps, and a Power Automate. So, as I wait for that, I discovered that the license is kind of a limited one. So I want to know what kind of license, and does it include the Power BI, because I didn't see something like Power BI as part of the license.
Okay, yeah, so that's a very nice question also. Yes, so the Power App and Power Automate that comes with Microsoft 365 is called the seeded license. Yeah, so there's also the premium license. And the license that has the difference between the premium license and the normal one. It's mostly the kind of solution they can connect to. So for the one you have, you can connect to SharePoint or other component within the Microsoft 365. Maybe like the Microsoft Graph connects, but you can store your data essentially in the SharePoint there. Now, then you also use a lot of that in document management and all the app like there's Microsoft Bookings, OneDrive, a whole lot of that. So you can work with all of those. However, if you want to work with things like Dynamics, XAP, Oracle, or you want to extend all of that, or you want to connect to an on-premise, you need a gateway, you need a connector, and that will require you to get the premium one. Actually, most organizations have all these license bundles, depending on the agreement they have with Microsoft. So in your own case, if you want the Power BI, you have to get the license. The ones that you see is probably just for you to learn, get to know what it is. It still has its own limitation, but that whole is changed now to have the Microsoft fabrics and there's a lot of things that is happening there. So what we might want to do is to look at what you really want to achieve specifically and then we can provide further advice to you. Is that okay? Okay, all right. Any other question before we go for the tea break? I think we can go for the tea break now then. And then, Chike, how many minutes the tea break? Oh, okay. Chike, how do we hear this person that's online? Okay, can you unmute and then let's hear you, please?
Okay, you spoke about, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, so you spoke about the power license, the power apps license, right? So
Yes.
I just want to ask, in this in what scenario would you need to, okay, let me ask it this way. So what I'm trying to actually ask is, if you have a power license, would all of your users need the license for you to be able to get things done, as in terms of approval? Say, for instance, will your user now need to also have a power license for you to be able to, for them to be able to maybe say, just raise a simple request? Yeah, I think that's my question.
Yeah. So it's not in all cases that every user will need a license. There are cases where you probably need just one license. So let me give you an example. In a situation where interface is not required, let me give you an example. If you are linking an application, you want to expose data that is Dynamics, or expose data that is SAP or Oracle or one custom applications that is somewhere. But you want to bring that data elsewhere and then share that data or democratize that data. Power Automate will do the whole lot of that. One Power Automate license can actually do that. It's just like having an API. Just like making an Power Automate, just like an API that does a whole lot of magic. So let me put it that way. However, if you don't want to have an interface, let's assume you build app with the Power Apps itself. And then in the Power Apps, we have the canvas, and then we have the model-driven side. So if you build apps on the Power Apps itself, now the Power Apps provide that interface for you, then you will need a license to do that. And then, so if you are approving also, you also need a license to do that. That means if you're a user and you have the license, then you can do both approval and then access the applications. But we don't normally let license be a limiting factor, because oftentimes when you see the real value, what it can do, then the license conversation becomes way insignificant. We also realize that not everyone understands the license. Maybe at the end of today, so we can probably share that and explain the license in details. So we've studied it very well. Some of the deals we got was because we understand the licensing very well. A lot of partners just flip the Microsoft book. Those that dissected that book, dissolve it, and then we'll be able to pick out the things that are relevant to our audience. So we'll go into that in details if you have time. And if you need it, you can simply request it. They will just have it sent to you. And I think it's in PDF. We'll just have it sent to you, and they will entertain more questions about that. Are we good?
Yeah.
You get that, sir?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Any other question before we go for the tea break?
Welcome back. So we're trying to be at high speed so we can meet time target. So we're just going to continue with some of those use cases. Then we move into a demo to demonstrate the integration that my colleague mentioned. So why are we showing these use cases? The goal is to allow you see parallels of your business processes in these use cases. So these are real life scenarios of situations being faced by different organizations across Africa and, of course, the world. And there are chances you will see one of such that will speak to your need, or it may not be exactly, but something similar. It speaks to possibility and also allows you to know what can be done. So for CAB, it's an interesting story, and it reflects on the part of what happens in the everyday of work. Most times when we think about automation, we focus on the heavyweight, those very big processes. But there are also some little processes within the workspace that are not automated, yet they take time. So for CAB, it was memo. So for some organizations, there are some organizations that even though they are heavy on automation, they still have some little processes that are managed manually. It's the Civil Aviation Authority for Botswana. They manage their memo manually. So that means someone generates a memo, prints it, and they move it across multiple stakeholders for signing. At best, they attach and send for you to download and print. So what was done for them was to implement this form on Power Platform. That means there's no more need for printing the form. With the Power Automate, you can move the form from one approver to another. And of course, you have to choose, you have the liberty of choosing the number of approval depending on the nature of the memo and the approval time. Of course, the implementation had integration with SharePoint. So when it's done, depending on the nature, it's saved on the relevant folders to the memo. So, and that was how they were able to speed up their processes. Again, this is also another unique use case for Botswana, and from their process, we're able to uncover one common truth. Most people, when they want to do automation, they just like my colleague mentioned, they move the manual process to the same stages in the manual process, they just move it to the apps. So this was what the first challenge they had. They wanted to automate their process, but they were lifting the entire manual process to the automation. So when you do automation and you lift the entire manual process step by step, it doesn't really give you an optimized system, because there are a number of steps taken in manual processes that are redundant. They don't really add value to the entire process. So what we did was to sit with them, look at the overall job to be done, and started analyzing each of those steps to find how they contribute to the overall job to be done. So by that, we're able to eliminate lots of steps. Because the number of applications being used, even in some organizations, there are some steps that are not relevant. Some of those things can be handled back end, some can be automated. So even in the automated systems, there are still inefficiencies. And so that is part of what helps in user adoption, because we have had organizations come to us and they have systems, but people are not willing to use this system. Why? I'm still going to speak to an organization. It was a specific, it's a financial institution. So why are they not willing? The steps are too long, because probably when that automation was done, somebody just lifted the way it was manually and implemented in an app. So the stages are too long, people are tired. So part of what is required, and which is part of the approach we use in implementation, is to outline the steps you are following manually, then query each of those steps. How does this step add up to the overall job to be done? If it doesn't add up, it's eliminated. There are some steps that can be collapsed together, and one single action can take care of all those things you are doing. So you can have 20 manual steps, and in the app, it's just 3, 4 you need. So for BEC, they had a number of challenges. Part of them was visitor management. They wanted to be able to manage their visitors. People come, they queue, there's no way to make sure that people are notified of when they are meant to come. So they have long queues at their gates, people coming for different purposes. So the solution is just a queuing system that prioritizes visit according to purpose. So there are a number of people that handles each of the unique cases. So once people book for a case, is queued against the person meant to serve them, and they receive a number depending on what they are coming to do. So with that, they know the exact time they are meant to come to the premises. Of course, it was also able to capture details like plate number for vehicles driving in and out. Of course, they are an educational system. They also have challenges with managing approvals. That was on the SharePoint side. They normally have document coming from three major sources. People bringing hard copies. Then some people send emails, and then some documents are generated within the organization. So each of these, what they do at the end of the day is print all of them, put it in a file, and they were having issues with managing details like end of life. How do we know that this is the retention time for this document? And when we want to remove this document, how do we ensure that we're not removing details that are still relevant? So the SharePoint with Power Platform handled that. So if the hard copy is, you can scan in that file into the SharePoint folder. If it's loaded in email, the Power Automate picks that file. If it is submitted, if it is raised within, all of them comes to one central point, and then they have a number of actions that are taken on those documents, regardless of the input point. So when it comes in, the action officer takes decision on it and is assigned to the relevant stakeholder. And of course, it goes into different folders that have different retention policies. Of course, looking at the lifeline before deletion is done, you're also able to review those files to be sure they are not relevant again before they are finally removed from the system. So we have OpenDoor. OpenDoor had a similar issue also. It was workflow with SharePoint. Moving documents across is mostly a common challenge for many organizations. How to handle document workflows, because document needs to move from department to department, and for each originated document, there are various degrees of action to be taken, and sometimes you have challenges tracking the history of that document. What has been done on that document, beyond getting details, who started it, who has viewed. Some organizations also want to double click on what actions have been taken on that document. It may be approval, it may be review, it may be a lot of things depending on what process. So these are some of the details that comes up with that implementation. So we have this is the organization I was talking about. It's a Kenyan company. It's a financial institution. So they had already done automation for a number of their processes. Loan process automated. I think another process that was automated already, but their challenge was that it was still lengthy. So they had a goal. They want to scale their customer size to 42,000. Of course, they are the highest in their kind in Kenya. They want to move from their size to 42,000, of course, and also penetrate new markets. But they have bottlenecks. Part of the challenge is the loan app, already automated, but yet long. So what is required? Now, that is where integration with external systems comes in. So where you have a unique identifier that can refill the data for the customer. So these are some of the implementation that makes reduces the journey and make sure the application doesn't become burdensome to the end user. So have a unique identifier that refills the forms, pulling from a common source, and that means the person doesn't have to put in their names again, address, the moment they put that unique identifier. That's also the route one of the banks is going even in Nigeria now. So after that, they also have challenge with scaling because they want to ramp up their number of accounts, but at the same time they were trying to avoid fictitious accounts. So what is the solution? Because Power Automate can integrate with third-party systems. So part of the route being looked at is to integrate with verification systems. That means the moment a new user puts in their ID, is able to check in with their other verification system and double check on the identity of that person that is trying to open an account. So that means the manual method of them doing background check is eliminated. So normally you apply for loan, it sits on someone's desk. They have to do a lot of background check on you, then give you feedback. So that is also eliminated, and they're also looking to plug into an external risk assessment system that will auto check each of those people applying for loan to know the level of risk associated with them. And of course, that will also suggest the amount of loan that is safe to provision for that particular user. So it speaks to the ability of Power Platform not just to shorten the journey, it also speaks to integrating with external systems to both improve user experience, increase security, and a number of other factors. Then, of course, they also had a system they were using for procurement. Yes, so of course, that's part of what the demonstration will handle. Even though that system was being used for procurement, it was not accommodating procurement planning. So what is to be done? System is a core part of the process, but they are not getting the full benefit. So Power Platform has the ability to extend those systems. That means you use API to extend that system, and you create any portion that you desire that is not in that system, and they interact with each other and still give you a very robust system. There are other concerns they have around data that is being handled and also around their SharePoint. Here's this scale pipeline. They are in charge of the petroleum product distribution. Their own challenge, in fact, the guy said it was a disaster. They have a number of depots, and they also have tankers, petroleum tankers. So what happens? Drivers can go to crowd in a particular depot, and the depot does not have the required volume of products to serve them. So that means a truck driver can be on the queue for the whole day and not get petrol. And yet another depot somewhere has products, and maybe there are not even enough drivers. So it was a complete disaster in his own words. So that means we're spending time, the driver is wasting their time. Also, you talk about the costs of going to each of those depots. So they attended the event we did in Kenya, and part of the solution we agreed to move on with leveraging what we implemented for another customer is a key model. So looking at the depot, each of them has a volume. So what we are doing is the system account for the number of volume in each of the depot. It also account for proximity. So that means each truck driver can look at the dashboard to know the products in each of the depot and also compare proximity and book a slot. So once they book their slot, that means depot A has X product still available and is this close to me. So once you book your time, you know that once is this time, you are going to that depot to pick up your product. So you don't need to go queue and not even be sure that the product is going to get to you. So yes, also had, okay, this is just home. Yes, that big IBTC. It was a visitor management solution. They already had a system again. Of course, it goes back to the first point I mentioned, that it's possible to have a system that looks as if it's been automated, but yet there are still inefficiencies because there are some things that are still need to be done manually. They had a visitor management solution. It would invite visitors, send them codes, but they could not book the meeting rooms in a way that it will not be booked twice. So what it means, the staff can book a boardroom, another staff will book the same boardroom. So I'm coming with my visitors. The second person is coming with their visitors. So imagine as we're in this room, another staff of Microsoft is coming with another crowd headed this way. So that's going to be a lot of crisis. That was the case for Stanbic. So then the second challenge was approval. Conventionally, someone had stuff. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, concerning the meeting room that you just talked about.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so there might be, is it just in-house?
Yes, in-house.
Or can they also advertise it? Say, for instance, now you have like like a booking, like a meeting room solutions where you have maybe you also have external people that might want to use maybe your meeting rooms, and you're trying to advertise it so that you can take advantage of that to also, use it as a service.
Okay. So that means you are now, it's no longer within the organization. You are offering meeting room solutions, externally. So that is for this use case is internal. But if you want to do external, it's also possible. There's a Power Pages. Power Pages external is external facing. So that's the portion you expose to the external person that will interface with the application. But the use case I'm talking about is purely internal. They do the invites and all the rest.
And also
Okay.
Microsoft.
Okay, yeah. So yes, and then there was another challenge. They had approvals. So there are a number of approvals that come and they have to go in and keep approving and approving and approving. So what the solution is a system that puts together the meeting room, and then each of the meeting room have different capacities. So within the dashboard view, you're able to see the meeting rooms, know the available equipments. So depending on the nature of the meeting you want to hold, you are able to know both from the equipment, the facility size, you're able to know the kind of room you need. Of course, there's also an AI feature that leverages the details you input for your meeting to suggest to you the meeting rooms that best fits that particular meeting, leveraging things like the number of attendees, the equipment you need, the priority. And for the approval, there's a provision in the Power Platform where you can automate the approval. So that means the default is approved, but the facility manager can also cancel the meeting. So it removed that layer of challenge of having to go in to approve every particular booking request. So this another use case, speaking to direct integration with Dynamics. For this use case, Dynamics was heavily being utilized by the organization, serving them very well. But there was a particular concern. They wanted to tag their assets, but the feature was not inherent in Dynamics. So it was already meeting all their requests, all their needs, but they wanted to tag. So with the Power Platform extending the Dynamics already within, we're able to achieve this tagging functionality, of course, which speaks to the demonstration we're going to do, that the Power Platform is able to plug into existing systems and accommodate extensions that you desire to make your solution more robust. So here is just a list of some of the solutions we built for different organizations with Power Platform, of course, speaking to the capability of the Power Platform in Man 360 for managing its HR, has payroll, has onboarding, leave management. There's the expense claim. We also have the Essential, which for asset management end to end. You can onboard the asset, manage the asset, both preventive maintenance and corrective maintenance. Also, the reporting side, we have Weber, which is like Uber within the organization. So can do carpooling, and it also helps you to manage your fleet, ranging from managing the licenses. So we have a lot of cases where vehicle license expire and the fleet manager is not aware. The solution is able to do a reminder. So once license is meant to expire within a time frame, it sends emails to all the stakeholders to action that renewal. That's the license part. Then it also tracks the fuel cost and every other cost. So the goal is that looking at the solution, you are able to see the overall cost of ownership for each of the fleet. So that helps you to know when a fleet gets to end of life. That means the cost of running that particular fleet is more than the value you're getting from it. We have the data reception, which is for visitor management. So against people coming and write their names, pointing to somewhere, you are able to invite visitors. They get a QR code, scan them in. You have insight who is in the facility, where are they meant to go to. You can also manage into that from there. We have medicines for the hospital. We have help desk managing issues end to end. We have quite a number of them. Let me just quickly move because of time. So yes, I'll be introducing the presentation that the next person will be handling. That's the demo, speaking to the integration. Because we know that for some organizations that have invested heavily on other systems, it becomes a challenge when you want them to replace them completely. Now you can see the data speaking to how heavily different organizations have invested in both CRM and ERP systems. And for such solutions, something is common. Now you have siloed data where you have multiple systems bringing different data. We have event we had in Kenya, one particular person was saying they have Oracle, they have Dynamics, they have SAP. So, okay, now question.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's a new what I'm talking about. I believe I can be heard now. Yeah. So I don't know if it's just me, right? I consider myself an expert in here, right? Okay. And a lot of these things we've seen here, they have their functions in the ERP. It's based on implementation. Now, most times, most organizations don't take care of their business processes first before they start implementing an ERP. And that is where the gaps. ERP is broad, is scalable, and it's flexible. Except you are looking at just one, as in one kind of business. I've implemented an ERP that has to do with about 6 business units doing different things entirely. Manufacturing, that manufacturing, there was also inside manufacturing, there was woodwork, there was construction inside it, there was also sales, electrical, there was also architectural inside that, and the company in this case is Megastar Technical Construction, right? And a large part of the things, because I met an already existing ERP, they were using Microsoft Snap 2000 R2 then before they moved to 2013, and then they scaled up to Business Central. Now my question is this: you have an ERP that is robust enough. Don't you think it is the consultants' issue that they are not able to have a roadmap where that single solution of ERP speaks to their business based on how the functional requirement document is stated, and the consultants will be the best position to advise the organization. Because I hear what you're saying now. I don't just want to rock the boat yet, not as by intention. But a lot of these things you have presented in the previous slide that the Power Platform can do, these things the ERP can do comfortably without any extra add-ons to it. So if you would say that the Power Platform will automate some business process, I'd like you to speak to where the limitations of ERP is. Like you saw your slide there, right? The CRM had this amount of limitations and the ERP had this percentage rather of limitation. I'd like you to look for use cases where you feel that those two business solutions are not providing at the Power Platform. It's for me, that is what I would like to see. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'll speak to you that.
I think, so it's something that we used to. So it's just that he's still continuing, and then you see one of the justification for for integration. The Power Platform in this case is being used for integration. So we're looking for a case for integration, why you need why you need to integrate. And then why, as you're integrating, we are saying that from our own experience, we've used the Power Platform. And it's not, now you talked about, but it's not something we've discussed about since you brought it up. Now, you talked about having a consultant, I've met stuff before, or you talked about they contacting the consultant to make that done and all of that. The same thing my few of my guys discuss while we're having the tea break. Yeah, so that's usually the scenario that happens. However, here is it. Now, we're looking at cost. That's one. The changing businesses. I spoke earlier. You implement something in January, right before you've gone. Maybe January, maybe your deal ended January, you've gone. Just by February, March, the business requirement has changed. And those things that you have done, there was no error in what you've done. Everything was perfectly. However, the process have changed. So you're looking at a cost way, how they can do it. Now, one of it is also to explain to the developer, to the consultant, this is how this is now a process. So this is how you should do it for that sort of thing. No.
What you want
Don't too much.
Okay. For instance, right? I have a business center, which honestly is fantastic. Which I have seen Microsoft Insights and able to solve problem. Now, when I was engaging a couple of the guys, they go to say, okay, I need insight for X, Y, Z. I will have to scale up my license that there's cost already attached to it. Now, we see Microsoft scaling up a lot of solutions and all of that for us. What I'm beginning to pick, I'm trying not to sound too pessimistic. What I'm beginning to pick is like a fish hook. You give me one, and then there are pockets of
No.
Let
You know what we should have done? You know what we should have done? We shouldn't have been discussing this now because there's something we show afterward that will probably show one reason that will attend to your question. And that's also speaking to
Who am I?
dynamics also. And that's the solution that we also sell. We sell dynamics as well. But it's integration that you also have shown. And that's the next thing that we should be looking at. And that provides answers to quite a lot of things here. And it's better we have it that way so that we can answer all the questions. What? Because by the time I'll be speaking also, I will have addressed some of the concern that he has raised now. Because so that's why I prefer we ask questions at the end of session where you note these questions. By the time we end the discussion, you realize that you'll be canceling some of these questions that you wanted to ask. So let's have it that way so that it becomes structured. And then we can look at every of the other cases. So don't just have it that way so that you can.
I don't want to take, I won't take so much time. Sorry, let me just add an opinion to what you are saying. I think what you are looking at is the advantages of Power Apps over CRM. CRM works on its own. Power Apps works. If you have, I have SAP, I have CRM, I have managed, I build dynamics, and I'm also using Power Apps. So if you are of the 365 customer, the purpose of this solution is for you to be able to use, because you find out that Office 365, in most companies, it's 10% of Office 365 everybody uses. So the purpose of this is for you not to go outside what you are and make use of what you are in totality to gain whatever is there for you. And I think that's what Power Apps is meant for. Thank you.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Taiwo Bashan, my name. I work with Microsoft, and I'm happy that I'm getting all this feedback from you. Based on what you said, I've done ERP for over 15 years, so I understand some concept around ERP. I've done some other process automations. If you look at Power Platform, it is not competing with any solution. It is complementing all the solutions that you have under business solutions, business applications, right? You can customize ERP to any extent you want, but I can guarantee you there will always be limitations in terms of the technical skill sets to tweak the architecture of an already built ERP application. Now, just like what Danjuma said earlier, he said that you have implemented an ERP application, you move on to a bigger organization, and another person is now taking over from you. You have to consider so many things: the business continuity, the support on that particular application, both from the usage and the technical expertise. And what we always, and if you observe over time, business applications is fully SaaS, cloud-based. And what we encourage is that maximize the full functionalities of what you have, limit your customization such that during updates, new technologies coming that Microsoft is deploying, right, you will not have issues. Now, coming back to Power Platform, it is a low-code application. Business users can begin to build applications, the developers can continue to work on it, right? But the beauty is that, one, you can easily spin up applications, one. Two, on the long run, you have a reduced OPEX as compared to your CAPEX, right? Three, business applications that processes that do not come with native ERP application, you can build it. I tell people that you have an ERP application, you have a process automation tool, and you have your line of business application. That makes the organization. And when you have a Power Platform, you can build any applications on it with multiple access, multiple channels. So there's a lot of capabilities that comes with it. I made mention just Power Apps. You have Power Automate, you have your RPA, you have your Copilot Studio for your chatbots. You can have a complete single application that has all these complexities inside, all these capabilities, and maximizing AI. So just look at it on that broad spec. That I don't want to use. We have an ERP accounting application. I don't want to use that, right? Then the finance guys work on it. But how is HSC? How do we capture incidents for the guys who are field service engineers as at today? How do we capture KYC for guys who can do KYC related information? We talked about Weber, cash scheduling stuff, right? Your organization would look at and let me just go and buy one solution, third-party application that does not tally with your business process, right? But the beauty is it is free, flexible tool. You can easily build the application, and there's a lot you can utilize it for. Thank you.
See some use case. Probably address some. So when we're done, I think we should discuss it. So that we can get the anything. Yes, so we'll quickly wrap up and then of course we'll demonstrate one of the use cases, which is business claim with dynamic integration. So this actually speaking to some of the answers to the question you raised. One of the reasons why integration will come necessarily, just like you mentioned, it's not as if it's ERP on one side and our platform on one side. That's never the case. So cost, just like Mr. Adam also mentioned, over time, not just Dynamics, there are multiple ERPs. It's SAP. When we were in Kenya, there was a particular customer who was using the old version of SAP that is on a separate database. Now, they have done a lot of customization, and SAP is coming to tell them they have phased out that particular version. They need to move to the most recent version of SAP. And now the condition is that once they migrate, they are losing all those customization they did. They are meant to move to SAP for HANA now, and they have done heavy customization on the current SAP they are using. So migrating to that SAP for HANA, the guy was telling us 3 and 5 is going to lose all the customization they have done, and is looking to completely abandon that system and get another system. So it's not as if it's Dynamics Power Platform. Speaking to ERP generally, what are some of the constraints that come with ERP, and how can integration improve and help you to prevent that? That's the cost component. I think the use case I just mentioned is one of the good examples of cost, where things are changing, the processes are evolving, and just like that particular customer is, they are still trying to solve that, and we are on top of the project. That particular customer has done a number of things. Their processes are still changing. Beyond the processes changing, the system, of course, is changing. So when you keep customizing and adapting these systems, it becomes complex. At some point, if you don't have the particular technical person that can handle that level of customization, it becomes a lot of challenge. So people have to hire third-party individuals to help them with those ongoing customization. So when you have the Power Platform handle that for you, just like Taiwo mentioned, Power Platform is a local system. That means it's easy to customize. Of course, we speak to the complexity. We have had organizations where there are simple processes. They don't want to expose the staff to the overall bulk ERP system. They just want a simple system. Maybe all the staff interfaces with is an expense claim. There's nothing again is doing on that system. Just raise expense, wait for the approval, and that's all. So instead of exposing them to the entire system, you extend that system with Power Platform and have them only consume that part with the user interface friendliness, of course, customized to suit what works. Of course, we talk about data leaks. When you extend system and just give users interfaces where they only pull in data, they cannot interact with the Power Platform. You also protect your system from leakages. And then, of course, we talk about accessibility. This speaks to some of the ERP systems that are on-prem. We had a use case for Kenya Steel. They had Navision on-prem. So they is serving them. They are not willing to replace it yet, but yet they want some processing on cloud. So Power Platform comes in handy, where you can integrate with this on-prem system, and using a gateway, you are able to enjoy the benefit of cloud. That means unlimited access. You can impute data at any point. You don't have to be limited to the content of the on-prem. So while the other system, because digital transformation is a journey that goes phase by phase. So while the other system sits on-prem, that particular important system that is a bit of a bottleneck that needs to be handled quickly is taken off to the cloud and can be handled at any point, while the on-prem system, which is an ERP, still remains. Of course, these are clear examples of use cases of ERP and the Power Platform and shaking to bring an optimized system. I've already spoken to the evolving business needs, why we need to do integration. So I'll quickly move past. Yes, so the next thing we're going to do is to.
It's like just now.
Okay.
What they call us.
This one.
No, the after this one next one.
This one.
You're not going to.
Yeah, this is these are the benefit that comes is, but at the same time. So I'll just run. So my colleague will come and show the integration demonstration. So
While they're preparing that, no, continue. While they're preparing that, so you will see clearly what's going to happen here. So dynamics that is working perfectly. Dynamics working perfectly, well deployed, everything is going well and all of that. However, you simply want it simple, that's the process needed by one of the simple departments. It's simple, and then you really don't want to run through both. Just something simple, quick, simple, and all of that. It's a process that is not available in the market. It's not something that came with dynamics. You just don't want too much work. Just want something that someone can do drag and drop. You don't have to bring in a consultant and charges a huge expense. Before today, you see how you can do something like this all by yourself. How about this was built by somebody in the finance department who is having tissue. Okay, I want the kid to go like this. I explained with all my colleagues when having breakfast that there are some processes that you want it your own way. Just the way it works for your organization. You may not carry the want to standardize that lengthy process. The finance specialist have a model process. And the finance specialist is able to say, let me do it myself, but let me have work and I want to do that self and it's working. So that is the benefits of this, and that's what we're showing you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ajay Fai, and I'll be walking us through on how we can actually integrate Power Platform with an ERP. In this case, we are using Dynamics Business Central. Okay. All right, so I'm not going to take much of our time, less than 20 minutes, I should be done. So some of my colleagues has already mentioned the benefit and how you can easily integrate without any issue. But I'm just going to, paint a scenario and the reason why we even actually came up with something like this, right? So we had a customer that was using Business Central, right? So about the costing and the security part of it. So they don't, because of giving everybody access, right? It's going to be costly for them. And for the fact that they don't want everybody to have access to the Business Central itself. So we now came up with this solution. This is the Power Apps, right? With the combination, we have the Power App for the interface right here. We use the Power Apps to design this. It's called a Canvas application, just like we already said. It's a drag and drop component. So you can designed to your own taste. So we just come up with something like this, and we are using another power platform tool, which is the Power Automate, or the integration for the workflow part of it. All right. So after building the Power Apps is the interface that the user will see. Then we are using Power Automate to connect the Power Apps itself with the Business Central. Right. So just like my colleague mentioned, is more like an endpoint. Okay. Now we also used another Power Platform component, which is the Power BI. Right. So we also use Power BI to visualize the data. And after this session, my colleague will also come in using the Copilot to show us how we can actually create something like this. Okay, so you don't need to be a developer. You can actually create something like this by yourself. All right, so I'm just going to walk us through, all right, the solution itself. So this is the overview page. If I go to the Power BI session, you can see I'm already showing the data. This data is coming from the database where we are saving this record, and also the Business Central. We are retrieving the data from the Business Central, and we are kind of showing them on this solution. So just a minute, it's taking some seconds to load. Okay, so this is a Power BI. So this Power BI was designed, everything was done on Power BI. So we now have to embed it into Power Apps, right? And it's very easy. You can also do that. Now, I can see the requisition count, the total amount requested, approved count, the total amount that has been approved. So you can also see by department, you can see reimbursement status, can see the count by department as well, okay, and the total amount for each particular month. All right, so if I go over to the overview tab right here, so you can also see the same thing. So this data is what we also visualizing in the other tab. All right, so we have the all expense. You can see we have total 45. We have the pending ones, the approved one as well. So I can see these are all the requests that I've raised so far. Okay, now if I go over to the next tab, which is my expense requisition. So the way it works is that an employee probably use his or her own money, right, to run an errand for the organization, right? So you need to give account on how you use the money, and so you can be reimbursed, right? Now you can go ahead and by default it's going to pick my name. All right, it's going to pick my department as well. So all I need to do is go ahead and enter the amount that I want. Okay, so let's just say I'm going to do $200, right? So this currency is customizable, so we just customize dollar, right? And also you can see the amount involved will be shown here. Maybe you can go ahead and enter the purpose why you are actually requesting for that fund, right? So I can just say training. All right, so I'll go ahead and click on submit. And mind you, this form is highly customizable. So if you need more field to be added here, you can as well add it by yourself, right? I'm just going to go ahead and click on submit. So this is going to submit the request. And once I submit this request, an approval has already been configured. Okay, so if I go over to the approval part, I can configure who will be the payment officer. My line manager will get notified, and Power Automate is what is handling that workflow. So as I submit this right now, if I check my Outlook, I will get an email, and also I will be notified via Teams. So I can easily approve either from Teams or from Outlook. I can as well approve right inside this application. So depending on the one that works for you, you can configure it the way you want it, right? Now, once the request goes to my line manager approve. For the case of our customer, the approval flow was from the line manager to the payment officer, and it ends there. However, if you require like 5, 6, 7 approvers, you can easily customize them here. So it goes from one person to the another until it gets to the last approval. Okay. Now, once the request is approved, I'm just quickly going to go over to my own requisitions. So I'm seeing all this navigation because I have the global access, so I can see everything. So if I deploy this to your environment, access will be given to you. So basically what you might have access to is the expense requisition to allow you to raise yours, the ones that you've raised, and also for you to be able to retire your expense. Yeah. So I'm seeing this. These are all the requests that I've raised so far. So if I go ahead and click on maybe this first one, if I go to view, I will see details of that particular one I just raised. Okay. I can cancel and let me look for one that has been approved. Okay, so this guy has been approved. So if I go to tracker, so you can see it's going to show me who and who that has approved. All right, so you can see this one is pending the head of department. Okay, so so on and so forth. So these are all my requisition. Now, based on the assets that I have, I can see everything that everyone has raised so far. So I can filter by the status. I can as well start by the ID if I know the ID already. These are the expense ID. Once you submit, the system generates an ID for you. Okay. Now, coming to my reimbursement. So this is where I can actually say, okay, this request has been approved. I've used this for any project or any activity that I want to use. So I want to send it to the management so that I can be reimbursed. Okay. So I can go ahead and select any of them, right, and reimburse those uh, expense. Okay, so this talks about the approvals. So where you can, if I'm an approver and a request is sent to me, so if I come over to this place, I can easily approve that. For example, if I go over to here and click approval, right? So I will see the details of that particular request that was raised. All right, so I can see when, who raised it, the name of the person that is pending. If the person append comments or not, I should be able to see it as well. So I can go ahead and append and approve. I'm going to approve your request here, so I can impute comments, right? So I can say approved and go ahead and say approved, right? So notification will be, I'll be getting notification, and as well, the person that raised the request also will be getting notification on the progress of the workflow. All right, so now we'll just go over to ERP, that's the Business Central for this case, to show us the record that we have been submitting so far, how it is being logged in our general ledger. Okay, general journal, sorry. So I'm going to go over to, I have it open on this tab. Probably need to refresh just a moment, please. Okay, while we wait for it to refresh, I don't know if anyone has any question. We can start to attend to questions. Okay, all right. So these are all the records that have been submitted so far. You can see it captures the document number. In this case, is the ID of the requisition that I've raised. Okay, now in this scenario now, the finance team can easily come here and do with this data with what they want to do. For example, they want to do some kind of reconciliation, right? So they can easily go ahead and carry out all the activities that they need to do. So by doing this, ordinary user will not have access to the Business Central, right? They will have a Power Apps interface where they can do everything that they need to do without having to interface with the Business Central. All right. And this will also save you some costing because, for example, if what I do basically is just to raise my expense, so there's no need buying or provisioning a license for me. All right. So just like my colleague mentioned, one license, one power platform license can do that job for us. What I just need to do is to use that one license to create that connection between Power Platform and the ERP, right? Then I will just use Power Apps to interact with Business Central. Okay, so you can have your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Foxy. Thank you very much for inviting me because I've been developing some applications on Power Apps. I do I did request, I did payment request. I overnight this morning, I did help desk and I'm stored them somewhere. That's why I like the fact that I like it. So when I integrated file to it's what I developed. So my question is I might have missed it, but let me just ask. Um, the approval part, when I got to the approval part, I've done the power to be activated, power to get to the apps. Now, for the approval part, I just wanted that I can't edit it. So I take the codes where maybe display modes, maybe I set it to be or edit or something. But I check that everything, but still not allowing me to act. So that's one. The second thing, I'll be struggling with, the interface of building and having this kind of interface to show the powers where it's so beautiful or the play mode. How to move it to the kind of your own branding color, how it's going to make sense so that it takes interactions. Then on the business part, you've answered the question on business aspect I wanted to ask in terms of integrating central business central. So what makes it instead of giving buying licenses for every design, we can automate some processes on Power Apps and now integrate with business central, which we did not. We are actually looking at we've been getting codes from everyone actually. We don't did not ask Reliance. Why? You and I never knew that you can integrate with business. So that's why this kind of companies are very much. You might think and when you come, one or two things share them, you share light, you share them. And I think you can look at that aspect and you can come up with something because we are actually looking at cutting costs. We are people. One end of the shop, they gave us $400,000. That was thank you very much.
All right.
So let's start.
Any other question?
Okay. Yeah, I think these two people will answer some of the technical issues. But there are some lot of things there's all that very continuous because it's like a planking. Yeah, so this is it. If you look at the dynamics of the XCP, besides these other ones, I think they have just few permissions or few allowance where you can do some planting. So now we're implementing for it. So we can build the template. Other place what we share with all different points. That template will take our time. We build it very well. Look at the logo, colors, font, everything. Because if I'm building, let's say, 400 business processes different than build by different processes, and then you must get uniformity.
Yeah, yes.
You have to get uniformity. It must look the same.
Yeah.
Some companies, and I got this year, but when I did some project for first market, I was sent to check. They said I changed the elephant somehow. Design the elephant. They were saying, okay, you can't again. As there's when I was developed, so actually the brand, the websites, you know, all the things, spend the time. And I would say I was saying through the templates. In fact, building components, they bought how it should look like. We basically have expertise that will build the controls, all of them separate. Because we are looking at time to market. So I want to develop just drag and drop and then do the launching. So particularly I'm always very responsive. They hate me for that. The interface. They are very, but I say, whether it's working, I think it's not that all the So we spend time, and that's the use of the background. It helps you to actually build that same thing that you want.
Yeah.
And then the time to market is a drag and drop. Imagine somebody is telling you something by January, by July, that's the day. How about you get delivered in 2 weeks and then they bring something? And say bring it on. And then like I will attend to those technical ones. Okay. I think you want us to discuss that now, right?
Yeah, actually, I did that with my so that I can show you. Just tell me.
Maybe again, like this. My name is Rudy, and I IT for manager. Right now, just for example, before the organization I've been using for mostly like but I mean, oil and gas construction. Recently, we just moved to, we are using this for English users, for wasn't directly used Microsoft. So recently, we moved to Microsoft. April this year. We back ventures. And so on the pattern that we had before, actually we went to we're using go like actually partnership with Microsoft. So it wasn't directly Microsoft. So we helped Microsoft because there are some features that we needed Microsoft and we couldn't get them because so at the end of the day, we that themselves said, guys, go directly to Microsoft. And so we moved our accounts to Microsoft. Now I'm now exposed to Microsoft. In fact, I'm still on showing and all these things that I'm still currently on finding security. You know, it's another platform. Security is another like whole journey. Yeah, it's the co-pilot thing. Yeah, right. It's just everywhere. Yeah. Now I'm very now like on the pipeline we have capsule dynamics. This is what people wanted to observe Sage. But some like every years ago, so like that. Was a pattern. Pay for it, store our accounts and they didn't even use it. Now we are trying to onboard Microsoft Dynamics. While we're trying to onboard Microsoft Dynamics, the management is already like to it, and now I got an invitation for Power Apps. And I'm like,
Not that one.
so I don't know what is there. So I'm trying to do that now. So if I call this decision, I'm going to Power Apps, I'm going to work Dynamics. You know, and how to convince the management for this and everything is. So we have this experiment, and I'm going to the license and see like I'm checking out the 10,000 powers license. Power automated 10,000. So I'm not like, how can I like leverage this and also so there's already actually we're trying to avoid every time. You still down with my tutor level that is very small over 18 things other applications so the thing is very small and I don't have time you can sit down you don't try that very the coffee so you don't see how it is so I'm trying to see how to assembly this thing I'm not going to onboard like something and start with them. Let me take part in some of the modules to build something that can interest the mind and now have ERP as we know. So I need that join okay, it's a quick one. Is we need to have what government and vision session too. I don't know who take notes of that, so we need to have that. And so, if you're interested, so this one to build the whole power platform. So, for Dynamics, it comes with already standard promotions. Quite relations of Dynamics and this financial operation.
values of customer service quite important. Now, if you find any of them that meet your needs, it's quicker. There's those ones, those you don't have to. Or after you will have to do the building of those things yourself. It's quite different from the traditional building acquisitions where you have to write every line of code yourself. The back and forth is a drag and drop. You still need to go through the upper automate to arrange the logic. But so that might take more time than a system that's already built that meets all your modules. However, there's still have a mix of it. So when you have charts already, at least the system you have the answer, and they are now using, and everybody's happy. Over time, I want to take this. Why so I'm not working on this? I'm not working on this. By the power to navigate to this solution.
Yeah.
However, if you have some other system that non-Microsoft or want to bring in data load here, that automate can be problem. The automate work like an API. It doesn't have an database. They're like connecting two systems and then they exchange data. So if the license is separate for that one, and since you have that, you can see that you made an arrange for it. For each power app that you use, there's an automate that comes with the context of that power apps. So when you see power automate alone, training reference, it stands alone on itself. And one license alone, just one, can do what you like. Can do a lot of, you have integration, can do about 26,000 hours. This is a day or particular hours before you get exhausted, before you require additional license. But we have the detailed license and how it works with our share. We also have all this other vision so that to advise you so that you can evaluate organizations and let them maximize the money that they have for the investment. Very, very important. All right.
All right, thank you. Any other question?
Just,
All right, it's okay.
yeah, good afternoon, everyone. But I just want to get a clarity, on this, the way we've been discussing about the power app and the power automation. So let's assume I know in the center already, and I'm trying to do some, self-service, the power app. So can I leverage on the existing workflow? And maybe whoever needs to approve can approve either way.
You want to approve on the power apps?
Either way.
Okay. Yes.
Sorry, concerning this here, my office use, and then I actually have not find out why they cannot use this ERP. What's the, is it true VPN that they use to configure it? Or I want to find out if it can, as far as this on-prem premises, right? Yeah. It can the power apps do that probably while we are not in the office? And that be achieved.
Okay, yes. So, Dynamics Business Center comes in cloud recently, but some customers are still on-prem, right? So if you're on cloud, you don't have any issue. All I just need to do is to connect, generate your secret keys and all the rest, then you can connect. However, if you are on-prem, we need to install like a data gateway, right? So which will now give access to the Power Automate or the Power App, which is on cloud, to access the data you have on-prem. Does that answer the question? All right.
Yeah, so it's a matter of creating a bridge and it's also part of the integration. So that instead is also a functionality that is lacking. So you have something on premise, but you want to use, you want to have cloud, what is cloud? Access it from wherever you are without putting money in. That's the main thing. Have it? Access it from wherever you are with internet, without putting on generator or coming up with a very big number of cards. So even the one that you have on premise, that dynamics now, you need to have the data and all of that to make sure that because the server is safe there. So that gateway already does create a kind of public IP. That's what it does. And then do all the definitions and open some ports and all of that where they can change the states and that's what it does. Okay, if that question, I think we'll go to the next one. Okay, there's a question. There's another question. Take the mic there.
Good day, all. My name is Lawrence. So my question is, we are using the business license for M365. Now, is there a particular number of power apps you can build within the license? Does it have a particular number of licenses? Number of apps you can build, yes, applications you can build within the license?
Okay. Yeah. So let me tell you how the Microsoft documented. I also tell you some hack that we've done for some things. Yeah, so Microsoft, it comes with two. Just two. One is the app license, and then one is the user license. I think the change that's the premium. So with the per user, it allows you to build unlimited number of apps. What it means is access. The access comes in terms of usage, not in building. That means if I give him a per user license, he can access unlimited number of apps. Do you understand? That's one. Now, if I give him the per app license, he can only access one app. So that means if I have 4 applications, it's better for me than using all these users than the per user license. But if I have just one app, and I need 10, and I have 10 stars I want to use it, I'm going to give them 1 per user and 9 per app. If I use at least 1 is required for agreeing purposes and rights. The other ones will be per app. So this one. So in most organizations, they go for the premium. That gives them the unlimited numbers of apps that they can access. So here's something we did. So the organization, I think, you package it. So you can actually cascade. You can build multiple apps. And they all act as if they are one. So you just create an applications for them, but they all be one solution. Create an application for them, they all be one solution. So different things. Different, but there's one, so you can still control the access right now. Here is the challenge. The challenge is that if one of the app, if we are trying to fix something there, you have to show that. So it's always very less. In fact, the process is very complicated. So I stable that you separate, them, and let everything happen at the end.
Sorry, I don't think I'm wasting your time, but one last question. Okay, we have this access control system that we are currently building with Power Apps. It's for visitors, actually, external visitors. My question is, after building the Power Apps, can you send external link to visitors for them to register for an app that is within an intranet tenant?
Thank you.
Should I repeat myself?
I think I go ahead. I can't remember.
For the Canvas app, you cannot. Yes, but you can use tools like the Power Pages. It's also the Power Platform family. So that one is built specifically to handle the external facing parts, right? Even if you go ahead to tweak the Power Apps to go beyond what it can do or what it was designed to do, when there's an update from Microsoft, it will it will affect it. So it's not advisable to even go that route.
Sorry. I also had that challenge when I was also working on my support management. So what I decided to do was that, so what I decided to do was to make the staff that is expecting visitor to register as visitor. All right. So once you register that the visitor gets schedule, you already know that if I yourself, yes, you already know that this is so I don't know then it means it's sort of feel start with feel for them.
Okay.
Does that mean to be added yes to that? Yes, that can happen because I saw somewhere, I think I saw somewhere on video talking about adding guests that you can send some links to get the power. I don't know. But then, you normally send normally if you want to add guest users to your Office 365, it sends a link to your guests if you want to share folders now. There's a way you can send a link to guests.
Yeah.
They will be on your domain. They will be under your domain with that. But I don't know whether that we allow you to be able to share links.
I mean, you should if we already have them registered.
Because I need to show them license.
No. So we've done this thing you said, but we got beaten by the consultant that's attached to us. Is by South Africa. So there's a guy that works with us in Microsoft staffs. He's among those that built Power Platforms. So he works with us. So we run all our processes by him. And so we've done something like that. So one day we were just testing, say, oh yeah, guys, I enter this. The guy actually checks our code to know that we know. So there's nothing you can hide. So he saw that thing. We were all flogged in that meeting that day. So and he was able to tell us the risk, the danger in it. So Microsoft manage operating system, and there's a lot of things that happen easily. That seamless use and all of that. There's a lot that really happened. So they are protecting that whole side without exposure at all. So what we've done in the area of external, if you are not using Power Pages, which they provided that, some done because of cost. So the other way whereby we send the form of an SMS, which is a code that our system recognize, because we also have a visitor management solution as well. And then the issue of contact with external is something we take something we don't take for granted, also something we have to provide for. Then the other route is through SharePoint. There are ways where you can actually contact someone outside, but that SharePoint just bring that and drop that somewhere in the dataverse, and they will pick it from there. But it's not straight. It's not straight. So, but we've had that relation before, and since then we had to go back to all our stuff and revert back. And then the customer understood our position, everything, and then they were able to buy the required license that will allow them to do that. Okay. Any other question? Okay. Okay, all right, go ahead.
Yes. So I had initially given a hint of my perception to this Power Platform, and let me still make my pocket a hit. So there is a concern. I have a particular interest in intranet services when it comes to automating a lot of things. Now we see SharePoint scattered across most of the Microsoft. In fact, I've implemented SharePoint 2010 That was way back in 2010 when I was at Chicago, right? And it did a fantastic job with regards to booking, external persons like that, and all of that. Now, I had once contacted your sales and marketing team at some point to say, look, wait, which company? Reliance. Okay, no, your own company. No, I won't mention it. Everybody, oh, you know. I didn't give us project. You were calling other people. No problem. So interestingly, right? You guys are also very this point of view because I have at least at the time a good enough relationship with guys. And even for support issues, you are my best point of contact. Now, my question is, when I look at the current structure of SharePoint, like I said, they seem to have decomposed it. Yes. It's not as what I used to know. Yeah. I can't build my intranet anymore. Yeah. And I'm thinking inside my head, hey, I don't want to rely on my physical infrastructure anymore. I'm looking at leveraging cloud services. Now they now bring OneDrive into the scene. I'm like, hey, inside my business central, which first and foremost, I would have preferred, somebody mentioned having a physical ERP. I think you guys did a good one to convince me to do business central cloud-based. And honestly, I had like 3 servers that crashed. One won't crash. So, and that would have been my primary server. We had to change. So if I had strong-headedly insisted on using my physical infrastructure, I know what's in my body for tell me. So, but then again, this is the question. Your presentation of the Power Platform makes it look as if I don't need SharePoint. My understanding of SharePoint, which is to say, I can have an intranet service and also provide an external link where my website is also linked to, and I have a ton of information both on an external front and internal front, managing my internal stakeholders in terms of the departmental shared folders with the right level of security measures. Please make me understand.
Yes, fine. No. Let me add to it. Like,
Let me ask you what you say. Let me ask you what you say.
Mike.
I have the same problem where because I've deployed SharePoint in the past. I deployed 2007, 2010, 2013, and all that. I deployed for Brazil. So looking at the SharePoint you have now, you can't. Those days you use workflow.
No, it's not useless. I'll tell you why.
It's not useless.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Microsoft is
because if you have deployed SharePoint in the past, if you are the only one that
my budget will be
what you see now is not like what you did.
No, just hold on. Let me hold on. I know you're angry. Let me break it down. I'll break it down. We've been there. Yes, we've been there. We've been there. Before we were doing SharePoint design, Abi. And then they now brought auto flow power to I went through that same nightmare you all went through too. But today, I can tell you SharePoint is sweet. We have built products on SharePoint. You know what we had to do? We had to go back. We're seeing it a lot because we couldn't use SharePoint designer anymore. The info team, they've condemned it and everything. So what am I going to do with this thing? So you try to come up with a community site. I think it's scrapped. It's so but you still want to build that intranet that is rich, that has everything without limitation. If you know the kind of person I am, I don't like it. My boys hate me for it. So we have to use technology called the SharePoint framework. We have to learn it. Today, we've built lots and lots of products on SharePoint. We can give us any complicated product, software, anything we can build on SharePoint. And the cost that comes with SharePoint is that we host on SharePoint site without you paying, hosting it on a cloud service or Azure or whatever. That's the cost benefit. But the skill set for it is now tough. It's no longer that drag and drop. Yes, and that seeded license that comes with your Microsoft 365, the SharePoint serves as a database for it. So that SharePoint list is what we do. So, but the rank of configuration that you do that, you secure that it's not a limsman's, it's not quick. But what we've done is that when we come into your environment, like what you just mentioned in terms of interactions, even when we build, like we build 50 apps for USA, we're not going to, have you asked us how they're going to access it? Have you imagined how they will access it? No. We still have to leverage on that SharePoint to build a portal, a very beautiful portal, whereby it will contain the link to all those apps that we've built. Because we need to look at the user experience, the ease of access, and all of that. We need to look at it. So there's a product we built called the digital workspace, a product we should give you. I don't know if our SO is a product you need. Abibola, it's a product that you need to see the digital workspace. It handles all that you're talking about. It shows you the best of SharePoint. We're able to build SharePoint and it's sold across all our customers. So when we are building processes for you, we give you as complimentary. It also, when we, the first time we had someone complain about it was NNPC, and they say that it shows high level of customization and they don't want high level of customization. We're like, I don't understand. People are jumping at this and you are saying it's too low.
Initially, I could use my BPM, like my BPM to design my entire SharePoint end to end, measure where the customizations and what the customization, including the codings, should look like. But unfortunately, every time in fact, we had internally targets amongst ourselves. Guys, go on YouTube. Do things, small things. Come back, I mean, nothing will happen to you. But honestly, honestly speaking, the only thing we seem to have used it for, even if you go to the landing page, sorry for the digression, if you go to the landing page of SharePoint, you see things like my site. They advertise things that should not be.
Yes. So,
That is why
I explained earlier. That SharePoint is like a forest with plenty of trees. Some of them might be relevant to you.
So that you understand my question properly.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm saying, this Power Platform and the entire presentation we are doing is that, hey, SharePoint is going to be there, but it's not there. Power Platform is the way to go. But if you ask me, Power Platform does not look like something that is community driven as a guest SharePoint. SharePoint looks like more of a community driven application. And here is Microsoft Teams also presenting itself as a community driven application.
So we might need to have this section for this. I have all the answers, but I'm trying to see how I can explain. So I'm trying to address it very well. In our own case, we've had that same challenge, but also, what I can tell you that with advanced SharePoint very well, we don't see those limitations anymore.
Objective of my question: a community-driven application. Okay. That every English I spoke. That's something.
Yeah. Okay. So that from my own side, and based on things I can do, to identify customers' challenges, and then we offer solutions to them in the best possible, cheapest, cost affordable way. You can say I'm not Microsoft, so we see those things, and then we do them. No, yeah. So all the challenges that you mentioned. No, fix them.
My proxy is one.
So from our own side, if you come as a consultant, those things you said, you won't see them. I'll fix them. I'll ask the customer, what do you want to achieve? And I can use SharePoint to achieve that. What I'm trying to say is that we have gone past the limitation of SharePoint. We have built competencies. We've taken it beyond the level that Microsoft didn't even expect it. That's what I'm telling you. Power Platform also, there was a time that when we got to Power Platform, we're moving all our apps that we built in C#. And the guy said, no, hey, it's too much. We shouldn't make it too much. So we got into that limit of them as well. So in all this solutions that we're talking about, even Teams, we have built apps on Teams, native code to build apps on Teams, not the one you build on Power Platform and then surface it on Teams or SharePoint service on Teams. No. We'll build apps with Teams, we'll build apps on SharePoint, core SharePoint, build apps on Power Platform, we'll build apps using Microsoft Viva, do all of those across all of that. Do you understand? So in Dynamics also, we've customized Dynamics, deployed Dynamics. Across all of them, they're under business applications. So we are at the very top. If you go to Microsoft, we'll mention our name, we're very top. Our advanced solutions. Microsoft has trained us, tested us, pushed complex situations to us, and we delivered. There are some that we do that Microsoft pay us. So they call it, there are a lot of programs where we deploy Microsoft pays us. So let us go through this, and then we'll now get to hand dirty, and then we'll go lunch from lunch. We'll now go to our house. So let me show you this. So this is about this generalize the whole conversation, the need for integration. So this is summarizing. So we've talked about it earlier, and then we've seen a demo of it. The demo, like I was telling you earlier, there is something that is needed. That something simply needs to be fixed. We are now looking at what's the best route to go. Now, my point, I'm coming from the business owner perspective. What can I get done quickly? When I'm a business owner, mind you that I'm also sitting down having lunch every time with finance. What can I do get done quickly? Is what is all to me, is what I'm discussing, and how easy can these things be done. I don't want something that I'll bring in a highly experienced person that has 20 years experience, the person designer, I mean, I don't want that. I want someone that can just come in, how many years experience, do you understand the business process, and the person put one or two things together and is able to fly using the apps instead of build this app. You said, that's what I'm looking for. And that's what this is all about. So because the standard, the SAP gurus, they will fix all the SAP problems. The Dynamics, the Oracle guys, they will fix it. The question is, can the business afford to call them all the time? And the business keep them there all the time? What's the time to market? I've never seen any SAP deployment that's happened less than 2 months. I haven't seen. Maybe you guys have seen. The least I've seen is about 6 months, and I've seen a lot of them. But I've seen the Power Platform get something done 1 week, 2 weeks. Testing is up and running. If it's not working, do it again. It doesn't cost much. So we'll do this, and then so this time we're focusing on SAP. And Chike, is this thing working now? Change you. Yeah, so this is about the partnership between Microsoft and SAP. Some years back, Ignite, I don't want to attend Ignite before. Ignite is a Microsoft program. You've been at Ignite.
Great. Virtual?
Which year? 2018. Yes. Ignite is where you go, you see the guys that built all this. Is an experience that some of you guys, you go, I'm sure you contact you, tell you some very exciting things about it. So while we're discussing about the how to integrate or do things with ERP, at that time, Power Platform wasn't really strong. I'm not sure we even heard of it by that time. And Microsoft, Satya Nadella, we sat, he gave the keynote, he gave the keynote speech, and in one of the other sessions, he was there when we were discussing all of this. And he said that in regarding to SAP, they are actually one of SAP customers because of their supply chains, and they depend heavily on SAP as well. Yet they are the owner of Dynamics. Dynamics isn't just that. They have great planes. They have Dynamics here, and they have Navision. But still, they use SAP. So they are quite aware of the challenges that may come with it. It's not as if it's not a robust. It's robust, used by Fortune 500 companies. Nobody's doubting that. It's big. The big companies of this world, they use this. But however, there has to come 1 or 2 challenges, and they have organized it, and look at them talking about it. As we speak today, a lot of SAP runs on Azure. So there is integration. Some SAP reviews SQL Server to keep some data there and all that. So there's a partnership is there. So, and what we are looking at is that co-innovation by design, and then they actually have offering and then they go to market together. Most of the platform actually have what we call the connectors. Those connectors were built in conjunction with the other third parties. So if you have SAP connectors now, SAP connector is Microsoft and SAP sat down and built it together. So the way you are using it, things like data type, all those securities and all of that, the handshake, they have handled all of them. So for you, it's just to fill in the form, drag and drop, and do some few clicks, the integration is there. So it exposes all the things that you need to do, all the objects that needs to talk to another. And that's just it. So in this case, Microsoft is having a great move this year. Like I say, they are really out to help SAP solve some of these business challenges. And one of them is using Power Platform to build around it. One of it is the user interface. I said earlier that with the Power Platform, you can build any interface that you want from the Canvas side. But if you're using the SAP, even the dynamics and all of that, there are still some limitations. There are no much allowance. There's a limit, there's an extent to which you can change the interface to make it look. At best, you just have a place to add your logo and do some few color changes. It's as simple as that. So apart from that, probably limited. But with this, you can do all of that now. Provide interface and then allow, and then the cost of license also. Most EA customers have a bunch of licenses. I mentioned, I'm hearing UBA. If you are UBA, you have these licenses for free. Microsoft gives them for you as dash, just like water. But if you have that capacity that the UBA has, and then you are buying, increasing more licenses, and then you're saying it's killing you, we are saying, look, the code that we are doing, the platform that you have, use it to build functionalities around the SAP. The SAP still keep your data, but the interfaces and the actions and the interactions, the Power Platform handles that. For you don't wait till you get in the computer and all of that. Some processes are not standardized. Yeah, so if you pick maybe sales and finance, or you pick like the MMM, that's the plant maintenance or material management, they may have a lot of modules that maybe now international module that is not available there. What do you do? I've done it before where I programmed with ABAP. But at the long of it, I realized that, man, it's too late. But we did some things, but so when I started using this, I realized that it's much easier for me than this, and the cost. So Microsoft, the cost of it compared to others is very expensive, the license cost of this. So we look at some use case scenario, and then so these are examples of things that you really want to do. So for instance, let's look at an inventory. You want to get, maybe you are somewhere far away, you want to know an inventory in your systems and all of that. What do you do? How about if there's just an app that is on your phone, and then you look at that app and then you're able to do the things that you can do within your own. SAP doesn't have those functionalities as it where you can easily do that quickly. But Power Apps is on your phone. Some of those things that that was demoed, they're actually available on your phone as well. Could have shown on your phone where you could see them, access them, and do some approval and do the things that you need to do. And then rather than coming to the office or say you want to log in and then say that just with the Power Apps on your phone, you're able to get data on the SAP and then use. And then you look at these SAP processes require other data which complicates the whole thing. But you want to keep things clean and all of that. Just focus on one area. And the same thing that applies to Dynamics as well. So for SAP also, with those connectors also, you can actually address this also. Like the case we created for Dynamics, the other one, you can have the same case for this also. How about you have something you need to do just temporarily, that you just have an overview of the data and it's not available. You're looking at bringing a developer, SAP person to get that done for you. Power Platform license you already have, just do that connector connection, and then you're able to have that visibility review and then take more action. So there are a whole lot of use cases for SAP in reality. So one of it is in a situation where you want to take away paper completely. Let's look at an insurance where you need to go out and then do inspections, for instance. How about you do the inspections and that will capture that data, capture locations, things that it needs to capture and all of that, and then send that to your core applications. And you will need a mobile app that does that. And that mobile app is connected to the SAP, just the connection. Now, how about some things you just drop in your email? The Power Platform with the AI that comes with it. There are certain emails that you send some emails there, some format, it act on it. We have a helpdesk application that we built because of license consideration. Some customers couldn't afford the license for everyone. So we say, you know, we'll just send an email to a particular email address. Power Platform comes to that email and process it. And then act on it, log the case and carry out other action. In the SAP case, order can happen, processing can happen. Power just get to that email and then push some commands and things that needs to be done, log on to the SAP and carry out an action. So it's quite different. So it's seamless. As whereby you have to open the whole SAP, log in, carry out authentication, then you need to now go to your own mode and all of that. So all of this makes quite very easy. And then now look at the chatbots again, where you can type. I think I was showing something the other time in AI, right? You can actually do that now to query your applications. Type in and say, look, get me the list, get me all the inventories and their balance and their stock balance. You just type it and it brings it. If you integrate Power Apps into all of this and then you type that, it will fetch you that result that you want. So you're able to build chatbot queries and all of that. So certain actions that you really want to carry. So I think it's just about you looking at bypassing some challenges. But I think now we need to start sharing the user accounts. Has it been shared? So that we'll get our hands dirty, we'll build a simple app, and then we'll go for lunch, and then from there we'll go home. Now, so what we are saying is that what matters most is think about a process. How can you make it better? And forget the complexity of technology. That is what this is all about. Just assume you have a blank check and then think through a process, the best way you think it can be done, and then leave technology. We are saying that no matter the complexity of technology that you have, whether it's any, maybe it's even a custom solution that has been built for you and it's your line of business solution, and you have data here and you want to use that data. We are saying that still continue to build or develop your business processes around all of that. And when you leverage your Power Platform, it will actually help you to streamline them and then be able to achieve your objective. So this is a specific case study for SAP, and Microsoft actually has quite a whole lot of support for this. In fact, Microsoft is actually promoting partners to really come out and help, and SAP themselves are actually encouraging Power Platform to really come in and provide that help. As you see today, there are more Microsoft developers than SAP developers in terms of numbers. Then also, this technology does not require you to be a developer. It's a drag and drop, something you can really play with and then get comfortable with, rather than waiting for one gig or someone that you take is from the moon to come and help us do processes. We are saying that you are the champion. So the part we are going tonight is what we call the citizen developers. Citizen developers are those who are business managers who understand the business, and they are not necessarily a programmer, but they understand the business. and they can build the apps that they need. So please, if I have to receive your username and password, let me see your hands up, please, so that I can get to you. Username and password. Gabriel, he doesn't have username and password yet. If you don't have, please. So please start firing up your system or your phone, and then start ready to get your hands dirty. Gabriel, he doesn't have. No, username. Okay. Wait, listen, I thought you tore it down individually. Okay? Okay. I think we should start that now. So I'll hand over to the guys. Get your hands dirty. We'll get this quickly. Shall not follow you, raise up your hand so that can provide the next speaker.
Okay, so this is the agenda for the answer session. So we are going to be doing introduction to Copilot in Power Apps and also creation of an app with Copilot. So what Copilot basically means is an AI assistant within Power App, right? So like my colleague has said earlier, Power Apps is like it's drag and drop. Normally, the local platform. So you can drag controls and you put them where you want them to be. And then you can put in the necessary knowledge. That's how it works normally. But with this Copilot, you don't necessarily need to do all the data. You can just look in the natural language. I want to create an application, put in one thing, put in another thing, and something like that. So once you give it instructions like that, prompting, the Copilot will automatically create whatever you prompted it to do. So that's what we're looking into today. So just create an app and then create the power to this session of the application as well. So what we are doing now is we're going to create an app interface with Copilot. We're also going to use Copilot to create a flow of approval, right? So for instance, you are creating something like a leave application. So when the leave is requested, somebody must be there to approve or you can go. Alright, so we are going to be creating those long attachments, and then we need them together to see how the automation works. Alright, so we can go to this. It will be advisable to use like a private browser. So if you have other Office 365 accounts in any of the browsers, you don't use a private browser so that you don't conflict. Alright, so you can go to this URL, make our apps. So with that username and password that you're giving, so go to make.power.com. I hope you can hear me clearly. Yes. All right. Thank you. So make.power.com. Once you get there, you see some interface. So you are supposed to pick just one of the user account that you're giving in the paper, and then you pass the next stage. The other one, the next.
We don't have online. No.
Some accounts will be dropped for you. Yeah, so please let me know when we are in this section so that we can proceed gradually. So we are waiting for. Oh.
Yes.
So essentially, we will be showing also, we've spoken a lot about power hours, power platform, you know. So sometimes it sounds like something that is too real to be real, something like that.
Yes. First letter is uppercase.
Yes, uppercase.
For the password is not. Is it
Lower cases.
yes.
Password about the user they use capital. Yes. So for some of us, it might be prompting us to change the password after
okay, reset it now, right?
yes. So please reset the password. Please prompting to reset the password. Please reset. Put in your own preferred password.
Yes. Going to come to this.
But the password is password at 123. Lower cases.
That's what they are using. I'm using 37.
Yeah, you got it. Let's go.
Actually, they're just there. That's how it works. But you know that one, I think in case of that is the just one goal, three. I know it's just no. That's to you actually. So no one is looking to work. They don't use it for this. Everything's knowledge.
You got anyone signed for it?
Yes, I've signed it.
So let us just quickly for the payment.
The agenda is one use Copilot.
If I say it, I'll go back to that. I don't mind. Or let me use it. Put the last one. Dash. Oh, this is what I'm supposed to write, right? The back for months, and it's something I think it's, I think you bring it. So the. Yeah, important. Or they can't work with that moment. I was like, I do know, I guess, mine is those other friends. And I might need to do that. It's such a look. Yes, no. Yes, yes. Yes. Look, we get yes. Saying that he still wants that period. Thank you. Like here is better.
Sorry.
Let me call it.
You're on mute.
But last Very quick one. How much I get paid for the ISP? I take notes. You say you prefer to take off INQ against the that's the state property. Okay, so how much is INQ? Charges. It's different. Are we using specific? I'm not even outside them. Not to get make sure it makes sense. I will make sure it makes sense. But you said you Hyperion buying
Okay, are we finding this now?
you know, because we can't use it, right? That's what.
So I'm going to be doing application development, so if I not the experience that be very different from what I mean.
Yes.
You think you can.
Yeah.
Is it a monster that interested the
Yeah,
pastor?
also putting.
I didn't get that. Is that
Yeah,
monster?
also.
No, it's not.
Change it to your own.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's.
So that's more people there, so follow the attention. So, but some of us are now letting see on the last comment. But I will not give some explanation about this section before we go into the.
No, we already taken to that one.
Allow me for the others to be attending shoes.
That's integrated.
So just let me share my screen.
They are aware that the inheritance of the possibilities that complicated turns into the thing we have to tell with the other. We've done it for one of these times.
So let me just give a brief explanation of what we have here. So what we are actually going to be working with is this section. So this section where we have the left field and what should it be? So it is what we call the co-pilot section, which is the AI assistance. So from months ago, this was not here. So it's just a new implementation that was done by Microsoft. All right. So before, so we have the navigation where we have the home, the create, the learn, apps, tables, flows, and the like. So this is the home page of our Power Platform. So at the top section, we have something that is called environment. All right. So one of the major emphasis of Microsoft in all of this platform is security. Right, you must be able to build applications with and then that is secure from every other person that you don't access into that application. So that is what the environment is meant for. It's like a container, right? So we said our platform has 5 components, major components. Power apps for building interfaces for internal use. We have Power Pages for external use. We have Power BI for visualization of data. So we have Power Virtual Agent, which is now called Copilot Studio. So with Power Virtual Agent or Copilot Studio, you can use that to create dashboards that you can attach to your website to respond to queries without intervention of human agents. Right? So that's what Power Copilot does, Copilot Studio. So we also have the Power Automate that does all the backend automations. You want to send notifications, you want to do approval, you want to plug into dynamic system. All right. So we're speaking a lot about
integrating with external systems. So Power Automate can help you plug in using those systems, ERP systems. And then it is not only limited to Dynamics or something within Microsoft. It can also plug into external local systems for any organization, provided that they have an endpoint that Power Automate can read. Right. So Power Automate does that. So those are the 5 major components. So some solutions or some application we require that you build probably 1 or 2 of these components for a particular need. So for instance, I think this is one for 2. Okay. So for instance, if we are building, let's assume we are building a lead request. So for you to build a standard lead request, you must build the interface where the users will be able to raise the request. Then you must also build the Power Automate, which will do the approval and notification as need arises. Right. So that means you are working with Power Apps and Power Automate. So with the environment, you can couple those two within one environment, right? So that any other person that is not authorized do not have access to those components. But that's one of the reasons why we have the environment. So for some organizations, they have what is called a test or developer environment. So developer environment is where you do all the development of what you want to do. Then we also have what is called a test environment. So the test environment, after developing the you keep the solution in a test environment where you tested to the limit by somebody that is not a developer, right? Then after doing that, there is what is called a production environment. So production is where every other person in the organization will have access to that application. So that is able to create you like a certain level of permission level to have access to some solution. So that's why we have the environment there. So making use of that here, you can click on some of what about you can click on that environment. So let's click on it. Yeah, you can click on the environment. Thank you. So on this interface, click on the environment. For me, I'll be using the environment that I created here. But for some of us, you will see Microsoft event training. So that will be the environment we'll be using. So somebody will go around and check that. All right. So while we do that, we also have so for the create session. Okay, so this is what we had before the advent of Copilot. So there are several ways through which you can create an application for Power Apps. So you can create from blank. So from blank means you want to do everything you need to do all by yourself. So once you click on that create from blank, it will give you an empty canvas. When you now begin to drag and drop whatever you want to do, your design and logic, all by yourself. That's what this is meant for. Then we also have the data bus, which is the table that we're speaking about. So the data bus is the general data storage for Power Platform. So all Power Automate, Power BI, Power Virtual, every one of them have access to data bus, right? So it's like a data storage. For every application, there must be a data storage, right? So that is what data bus is meant for. So for instance, if you have a data storage or data store in a data bus already, and you want to just create an interface to be able to access it. So you can click on this. So once you click on this, you will be able to select the table and then you create an app which will interface the data for you automatically. So the same for SharePoint. I believe some of us were asking questions about SharePoint and all of that. So you can also create an app from SharePoint. So if you have a SharePoint list where you have data and you want to show or visualize that data, you want to give it an interface away from the backend. So you can create from this, and then it will automatically give you a gallery view where you can see all the data and you can modify that to whatever you want. Same for Excel, SQL. So we also have these new features of Power Apps. So what this means is, if you want to, if you have like a sketch or an image of an app that you are trying to build, right? So this is also like an AI system within Power Apps. So once you are able to clearly mark what you want to do. You just show that interface or the image to Power Apps. So Power Apps will attempt to create what is that on the paper, right? So you can draw like a form. So if you have a form, employee names, line manager, department, phone number, something like that. So you draw how you want it to look, and then you show it to the Power Apps in this section to attempt to create the same thing that's on that paper.
Are you going to upload it or?
Yeah, you upload. So once you upload it, Power Apps will read it and create something like that. Yeah. So that's the way it works for big Figma too. So if you have the Figma project where you have